spent 2 years of my life trying to deal with that and figure it out, and that was back in 2007, 2008. So when it was quite new, and a lot of people, I would talk to my attorney about it. My attorney thought I was crazy. Um, Talking to many of people, and they thought I was crazy because they'd never heard of such a thing. But it's
Well, I
more
have
common than
couples that get divorced, and the worst case I've found is the husband was tracking the wife's luggage with a GPS USB stick, basically. Tracked her. You could see her flying in real time on Google Earth when it played back. We just go across the country, hop, 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 every place she stopped. She had a phone that was set to answer without ringing, with an earpiece plugged into it and all taped together, which was powered to the car's permanent power between the console and the car. And he could call in and listen at any time to her just by calling it. And it had child zone set from Verizon, so that every time she entered and left one of 10 zones within a quarter mile, half mile, or mile, it would alert him on his phone that she was the direction to travel, a map, and the whole nine. There's, a kid service that you use to track your kids. Well, this guy was using it to track his divorcing wife. Bugs in the house, on and on. You got to see the extreme people will go to. And so I decided that's a good business to do too. So I do have a
that's how I got involved in all of this. Is my friend was going through a divorce, and he started using it on me and his girlfriend and his ex-wife, and who knows. Well, it is a sickness. He basically dropped out of society and stopped working and started doing this full time. And the way I figured it out was I traveled. I didn't tell any of my friends that I was going to Montana, and I left in the middle of the night to go to see family members. And by 6 o'clock in the morning, I had 9 voicemails from him wondering where I was. Where are you? What's going on?
That's a good giveaway.
Wow.
It was huge, and I at that point I didn't know anything about it.
Wow.
But slowly, after about a year after that, I started pieces of the puzzle together, and I went, "Oh my God!" Yeah.
So I can find any bug. It's called invasive technology detection. It's very private. It's $2 a square foot to scan a business. The going rate's about $6 to $12 a square foot. So I'm a pretty good deal. But
oh, I'm sorry. So there's actually a service that you can subscribe to that you can track anybody's phone, or do you have to put an application on their phone first?
There's 2 kinds. One is one that you have to say, "Hey, can I open an email with my phone? Can I check my email?" And everybody says, "Sure." And you open your email and you click a link, and from that time forward, that phone tracks everything.
Okay.
I can look through the camera wherever it's pointing, anytime.
Right.
It's live time.
And the way.
And the other type is I just need some information from you and your phone number, and I can install that remotely through the network.
And that's how I got tracked.
Hey, look at Russ's face. Russ is all
Well, no, I've actually. If you go to Orbis Vitae and you go into the secret news forum there, I have promoted for the last 2 years an article that talks about the government has full control over your microphone and your camera on your cell phone, regardless of whether it's turned on or off. The only thing you can do is take your battery out. You say that's the only way to disable it.
The newer phones, you cannot remove the battery if you haven't noticed.
Well, not me, because my phone is from 2005. So.
Right. Well, I made sure if I got one of these, I could take the battery out, but it doesn't mean it's off.
Okay, so I knew that the government could track this, but I didn't know that people had that capability. And you can remotely install software on anybody's phone if you have their number?
Yeah, I just don't operate like that, but I can be the worst fucking nightmare for anybody that crosses me. But I just would never
Yeah.
do it because
Wow.
I really do practice my Taoism. I slip off, but my energy and my balance is so very important to me getting by the way I do now, even if it's marginal. If I behave that way, I know I'd be on the street suffering. You get what you put out. So, but there was a time when not even the farthest neighbor from me in the neighborhood liked me. So complete asshole, and that's when I had all that money, and I just was miserable. The
Wow.
lady's name next door was Beth, Beth. She'd come to the door, and I, even as evil as with my humor, but I go, "Well, hello, Death." I would call her Death, like as in dead, and she would go, "He's calling me Death again." I'm like, "Why do you do that every time I'm calling you by your name?" You know, they would just dread coming near me, and then the neighbors would be like, "Hey, Rob," I go, "You see, I'm on the phone, right? Can you see I'm talking?" And then the next day, I go, "Hey, come over for a barbecue." "Oh, okay." So yeah,
Wow.
I
Wow.
suffered. That behavior
Okay.
kicked my ass for about 7 years.
Um,
So
I'm fascinated. I mean, having the government able to do this. Um, now, I listen to everything you're saying, but I am shocked that that it's gotten into the hands of that people can actually do this. I know, and I'm not too naive to realize that pretty much anything the government does, most of it's been cracked by people. You know, people have gone into all kinds of, you know, NASA and CIA and broken. And I'm not that kind of a, I don't do that kind of stuff. I am a programmer. I used to build computer systems from the circuit board up, design micro, program processors, assembly language machine, from the chip level up. But this is a whole different area because you have to understand different things, completely different things. But just amazed that
I
that's
was
actually a capability of the phone that's in the public's hands. That's amazing.
I used to build Heathkits, Heath
Oh yeah.
Heathkits as
Oh yeah.
a kid, and got interested in building circuitry. And I can build just like you PC boards. I can wash my own boards and yeah, from the ground up anything I want. I have an invention. Uh, anyway, I've designed several things.
Well, what's one of your inventions?
Russ.
Well, go ahead, Kirsten. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, you were talking about it getting into the hands of people, just your average person. Um, when I was doing my research, trying to figure out what was going on, um, he was giving me links to different sites to go to
Who?
which, was the person that was tracking me. He
Ah,
didn't realize that I had caught on at this point, and I was writing all this stuff down, and I went to these sites, and these were chat rooms where people were chatting about who they were stalking and how good it was going and what they were finding out, and it was so sick and disturbing. Today I could not go back to one of those sites and read that stuff because it was it it's just disturbing to know
Yeah.
that
here,
people are
Russ.
doing this.
Here you go. There you go, Russ. Click that link and take a look. You can start spying. You can start spying on a cell phone in 5 minutes. Give it a whirl.
Well, yeah. I'll look at it. Not something I want to do, but
Yeah, I understand. It's just,
wow, I've never seen this.
but to find it, you have to know how to use it. So, um, yeah. But my energies are best focused on positive stuff. I have a cousin that hacked bank, created his own account, transferred money, and went to prison. I have a
Wow.
stepbrother that figured out how to make Visa cards that can buy anything with the logo and everything.
Really?
Went to prison. Yeah, and then I have the other side of the family that's self-made millionaires. One of them owns the north side of the 10 freeway all the way through West Covina, several blocks in, all the buildings. He started off mowing lawns. So I come from a family of capable people.
Yeah, I imagine you could get by with a knife out in the wilderness. I think you're going to make it.
Yeah. From urban warfare to, yeah. But I've had chemical, biological weaponry training, desert training, cold weather training, jungle environment.
Well, you are a good guy to know.
Uh,
Jeez.
my
Holy cow.
my preparation pack consists of just a change of clothes and a blanket. I'm good, and a knife. So,
That's, great skill to know. Very, very important skills. We've been working on it. We've been working on it slowly but surely, but
yeah.
sure nothing at the level that you're talking about.
You have to understand that everybody's doing storable food, and this is just me. But so you get a pallet of storable food. You cannot be anchored to one location. If shit hits the fan, you've got to be mobile. And you've got to be mobile in a way where you can't carry shit to that kind of location or that place.
Exactly. You've got to know how to live off the land wherever you are at any moment. Yeah.
Amy Lou just woke up in Florida. That's one of our moderators. She may come on right now too.
Well, I'm impressed. I appreciate you sharing all this info. I mean,
oh yeah, it's going to be on YouTube, and I'll be a troll for another reason now. But whatever. I just enjoy the people that want to throw stabs at me and not understanding what they're doing when they do it, but that I'm a nice guy. So,
yeah. Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah.
Hey, this.
It's all funny.
Oh. Everybody's age is showing here.
Yeah. Hey, Will Robinson. Yes. And I'm glad when I get shit talked on me that it's funny, because I see it as funny because it's whatever. Now,
well, this
house or track me down. That's another story.
This site you sent to me, and I'm not even going to mention the name to people, but does this actually let you turn on their cameras?
I don't know. This one I just grabbed a random one. You just type in cell phone spy on Google. There are a couple specific ones that are the ones. Yeah. But that's one. And you can get a lifetime test actually on a lot of them.
Really? And they charge for this service? They'll charge you something, and you can subscribe or something?
It's only free if you're Verizon or AT&T.
Okay.
It's free for the maker.
Wow. That's okay. Well, it's new to me.
Well, yeah, it goes deeper, but
I'm sure.
Invasive technology detection. That's my that's something I do. That's when I disappear and pop up in another state without any warning.
Yeah.
That's
not one of those. They make movies about you guys.
Oh yeah. I'm just a dude. I'm a dude. I'm a tech nerd. That's all.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, that is disturbing about the cell phone thing. That really struck me. I knew it was there for the access of the big boys, but I've never seen a website where anybody can go do that. That is a whole new level of disturbing there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. And it's been around.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So our, Lexi, her assumption is the only people that should worry are people that have something to worry about. So you might want to explain to her that I'm not.
La nueva botella de Pepsi está rifa.
Next time you guys powwow, maybe now you understand. I could never explain anything to her.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry for what you went through, Kirsten. I mean, I can't imagine being in that position. That must be, I don't know, like a traumatic thing that
these women,
post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
Kirsten, by the way, that's as a guy, that's the best time to date a woman.
Oh, Rob.
Yeah. It's not complicated. It's easy, But no, seriously, yeah, you're right, Russ. That these girls come unglued. Some guys too. There's some pretty wicked females too, but mostly it's guys. Guys are immature that way.
You know what? I'll tell you what, when I was reading some of those blogs and those chat posts and stuff, there were more women on there than I ever expected to see. It
Where?
was when I went
Oh,
online to the different chat groups and looked at what people were saying about the technology, and I just was sick. Just sick.
yep.
Well, I hope the people that are listening to this, we've got some people on. We've had some people all night, amazingly, but numbers creeping up here. I hope they are listening carefully to this.
Yeah.
They need to be aware of this. I'm
Yeah.
still a little. I'm going to be talking to my business partner about this tomorrow. Did you know? I mean, I knew
Here's
the
one of my-
government.
Here's one of my favorites right here, Russ. One of my favorite links right there.
Now tomorrow, am I going to have smiley faces all over my cell phone or anything?
No,
I know. I'm just kidding.
I'm so beyond bored with it. I just want to get paid to do it and get out. So
Like those movies. I am Rob. I have become the spaceship.
I'm just a traveler. I'm just traveling. Amy Lou is at the bus stop in the rain. Oh, you poor thing. Well, you have a fiance. Tell him. I'm telling her right now. Tell your guy. Just playing with her.
I'm still stuck on spaceship Rob.
Yeah, thank you.
Rob, the AE-35 antenna is about to fail.
You've seen my tinfoil hat photo, right?
No, I haven't.
Let me get that for you.
It's like, Rob, would you open this door for me, please? My compartment door is not. All right. Oh boy.
Yeah,
No. So you're gonna? Did you send a link?
I'm finding my tinfoil hat photo. It's
Oh, okay.
classically funny. It's.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this site.
I think that's the one, or it's MSpy Mobile or MSpy, one of the two. But I think that's it. I just
It's
glanced.
slick, and they're advertising that they've got. I don't know why, but they've got all these logos. They say, demo, blah blah blah. And they've got CNN logo, the CNBC logo, the New York Times logo, BBC logo, the trusted Verizon. It's like, what are these logos all here for? who they've been on, or what?
It might be for hits on the internet. I don't know how they.
Well, I know it's just kind of funny. It's like they don't say why they're there. That not like some of our clients are. They just have these logos floating on their page. It's like,
Well, the
Okay.
actual, that's the front page. The actual user page is just a blank page with a login username and password. That's
uh-huh.
it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's very very sneaky. The whole thing.
Testimonials too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are there?
This okay, beep beep. I won't say the website name. Beep beep seems to be a really useful high tech invention in terms of keeping me informed of where my family members are all the time, whatever they're up to. Running a big company is not as easy as you might think.
Oh, that one
Wow.
has a video for it. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a video for that. It's great.
Wow.
That one's got the free demo.
Oh, really? So here, spy on some this
Yeah. It's got free demo. That's
5-minute
right.
camera time.
Number.
Yeah, put a phone number in. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Phone lines open 24 hours. Different
Oh, yes,
languages.
they are. Yes, they
Wow. I know. I'll call it in here. Hi, this is Rob. How can I help you?
are. Yeah, oh Jesus, no.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh my God. Yeah, this
Wow.
is some static on Facebook, but whatever. It's I'm just a guy.
I can't. I'm amazed.
It
Wow.
should.
And
Shit's
one of
scared.
the ways that you can determine whether or not your phone has been hacked by one of these is there's some very unique high-pitched screeching noises that happen occasionally
Yes,
that
there are.
for
Yeah.
any cell phone user that has ever used a cell phone for any length of time realizes those aren't normal noises. And pretty soon your phone will, during that year, I went through three cell phones. The following year, I went through two more cell phones. So in a period of 2 years, I went through five cell phones.
Well, if I'm on your ass, it doesn't matter how many phones you go through.
You know what I
For a
mean?
guy for a
Just
guy who's trying to clean up his reputation, you're not doing a very good PR job, Rob. I just have to tell you, you're not making it easy.
No, I love to say what people don't want to hear. That's all.
That doesn't work well though. And, yeah, I hear you.
Look at that link above the arrows there.
Okay. If you dare.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a If keyloggers can be found in your computer with the term KLR. After it's a .klr file usually, and there's some other ones.
Really?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, that's why I keep telling the members not to open up links they don't know, because you can create an engine into a photo. It's a tiny file, and when they open the photo, it installs in the background and then begins tracking all the computer's activity, screenshots, sites visited, everything, and it packages it up to an email, and then it destroys itself at the creator's determined time. It could be a day, a week, a month, a year, 2, 5. You can never find it in any of the, well, I can find it, but you can never find it in your program files or anything like that. It won't show up in a scan. So that's why people need to be careful. My Facebook got hacked. Well, that's really not something that's easy to do on a Facebook platform, but it is if there's spyware, a keylogger. So people need to be careful what they open, because it just takes one picture, or even a MSN chat. A lot of times people will ask you to chat them off Facebook. Here, meet me on MSN. Never do that. Ever. So, my phone's blowing up. I probably pissed somebody off.
Mr. Popular.
Yeah, whatever.
It's been dinging all night.
Wow.
Not doing it.
Somebody wants an office scan. That's what it is. Business.
Well, let me turn that off somehow. I'm not doing.
Pull that battery out.
Yeah. Well, it's got to stay on, but it's probably bullshit anyway.
Now, what if you pull the battery out and it still rings?
Then we got a problem, Houston.
Got a big problem.
It's like a horror movie when you unplug the television and it comes on anyway. Right?
Yeah, I will spend the next 3, 5, 10 days to figure out how it's doing it, and I'll find out. So, yeah, I don't take kindly to that at all.
Maybe Hub will help.
Who did this and when? Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. So that was fun, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just amazed. Yeah. I had a friend who actually made I don't know, $7 million in a year. Back, when was this? Well, in mid 2000s, early 2000s. And he didn't know how to manage money. He lost everything. And he was like 21 when he did it. And he got into all that stuff. He was logging, like he had competition, so he told me stories. I would just sit there and laugh. He put keyloggers on all the computers and installed viruses on all the computers. He like went in like he was going to repair the computer.
Yep.
And installed stuff. And then he was monitoring, and so he was monitoring their technology so he could subvert it and then do. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
How do you think I made all that money? I put keyloggers in all my competitors' computers by sending them quotes to review.
No kidding.
Yeah. And so the ones, I would always underbid them.
Oh my god.
And then the ones that wanted to underbid again, I just give the equipment to the client. Here you go. Let's give them a phone system and charge them later. So you will kneel before Rob.
Wow.
that's dirty business. But no, I don't. When for business, I'm better now. But yeah, pretty. I don't have any conscience when it comes to competing. You know, that's business. That's different.
Hmm.
Now I just do my thing.
Yeah.
I get my ads deleted all the time when I put up. So I pissed off a few people. So
Yeah. Well, what I mean, are you? So are you in multiple businesses now, or are you? I mean,
yeah,
what do you?
I work in 3 states because there's no living in one state. It's either work in California only and accept a food stamp card, or work in Nevada, California, Arizona.
Mhm.
So, and then wherever else I'm forced to go, it's another story. But yeah,
Wherever you're
I
forced to
do.
go.
I do business phone systems, alarm systems, surveillance cameras, covert surveillance, bug detection, professional voice services made by Rob the phone guy. So, press 1 now. But,
He is becoming the space. He's starting with a phone system.
yeah, yeah. So I stay busy. I try. This has been a shitty month though. It's probably because I spent too much time on Facebook. But I do what I want to do, I guess, because I don't have any. I've gotten all the bills down. I just have a small rent, a cell phone bill, and food. And if I want to drive, I got gas. Past that, it's just extra fluff I don't want.
You travel.
I do that because
You travel.
yes, I
You
do.
don't drive. You travel.
Oh, that's correct. I travel. Oh,
Yeah.
damn it.
I caught it the first time.
Yeah. Well, if you get a cop,
Yes.
you get a police officer in front of me, and I don't fuck that up. Trust me. I pause. I don't answer anything right away. I don't answer half the time. Why are you driving around in circles? That was the last time. Where are you going to? In circles, apparently. Following my GPS.
Uh-huh.
They ask a question, where are you driving? I don't answer. I don't even answer them. Just sit there. Polite.
Yep.
But you have to learn how to use the law, or how it uses you.
Yeah, I hear that.
And it's not foolproof because at any time they could break the law and take you to jail anyway. But my time's worth $3,000 an hour if they do that.
Oh, perfect.
It's common law. Although if I inflict injury upon someone else, then that is the death penalty under common law.
Well,
so
that's a
but,
good deal, right?
yeah,
Because that's not your intention.
Never. No. Yeah. You get what you put out. So you want to be a dickhead, then you can be treated like a set of balls there. You know, just
Well, it's good that you've come away from the dark side.
yeah. Well, behaviors take a long time to unlearn. You know, I learned that too. Takes people a long time to unlearn habits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
people always want things right away.
I'm such a goody two shoes.
Who, me?
Me.
Me too.
Gee. That's the denial smile. Look at this picture right now. That's called a denial smile.
Yeah. I assure you, I'm quite bored more often than not. So that's why I can do all the different studying, the quantum physics, the everything. And just because it's otherwise my mind, I'd get in trouble if I didn't have something new to learn.
Yeah, I hear that.
La nueva botella de Pepsi está rifadísima.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, geez, it's been a wild education here. Very cool. I love the common law stuff. I really do. I got into that.
Why?
My company's a corporation.
Why?
Well, for tax, but I mean, I know from your level, you know, you don't even have to go there. I get it.
Yeah.
I'd never finished studying enough to, because you can't do it halfway.
No.
You know, you can't step out halfway. You got to step out if you're going to step out. And I never learned enough to step out all the way. You
You
know,
open your
life.
mouth, you better prepare. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I learned that early on. I actually had my um, I actually tried to stop paying income tax. I used one of the methods in one of the books. This was right at the beginning, you know, before I knew anything. And
I
I
haven't paid
followed.
since 2000.
Well, yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
I I, I haven't paid because I'm poor, but I'm still filing.
Oh no, I don't even get anything from them in the mail. Nothing.
Yep, yep. Well, you're out. You know, you've stepped out. You're stepping out. You've stepped out. So, and they know you're more trouble than you're worth. Basically, it seems like.
I would have to say maybe.
You think?
I don't know.
Yeah, but I had my bank account was seized. They fined me $1,000.
Ugh.
I went down and I met the day they seized it. I went down and called the vice president of the credit union because I worked for community college. I was part of a teachers credit union, and
Oh yeah.
I met with the vice president right then and there. And I told him, I said, by law, you don't have the right to do this. You know, look at the law. Look at this what says. He says, well, quite frankly, he said, I used to be an attorney, and I'm a lot more worried about the IRS suing me than I am you.
He said that.
That's what he said. Yes. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, I guess that shuts me up because he doesn't care about the law. He just cares about who's got the bigger budget, you know.
Oh yeah, they're concerned with marking up all their deposits 90% on their books and you turning that into loans with interest, putting people in debt. That's how that all works.
Well, he basically, you know, to an uneducated, I had enough education to understand that he told me the law doesn't matter. You know, he just said to me, I'm lawless and I don't care. And I'm like,
Basically,
so, and he knew where I was coming from. So he knew all I could do is throw my hands up and go, okay, you know, and that brings us back to either you step out of the system or you're in the system. You can't be halfway, you know?
no. Yeah, there is no more credit. There is no retirement. You're supposed to make your own retirement. You save that shit. You're supposed to do that. That's what your great grandparents did.
Yeah.
There's no freaking Social Security.
And this is, I know people in the UK are doing this a lot too. I mean, a lot of people are becoming hip and apparently stepping out over there because really the structure is very similar law wise.
I'm
Right.
completely blind to any other country. I have no idea. I would be scared to even try this shit anywhere else, but I guess it is similar, huh?
That's
It
from,
is because because our laws came uh, um,
Maritime law.
from Europe. Yeah, maritime law, which is universal, right?
I think so.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
to
what
me,
I heard the other day when I was learning about it.
yeah, basically they implemented the same scam in every country.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be little differences here and there, but the big picture is the same. The scam is the same.
Well, it
Yeah.
all applies to the movement of money.
Yeah.
That's really it's about. Your debt slaves. Pay your taxes.
Property, right?
Yeah, my favorite one's the pink slip for a car. That's not a legal document, a pink piece of paper. I own my car. Pink slip. Well, you just registered it with the government. They own your car. They have the title. You have the pink slip.
Well, I learned that about houses too. When you have a certificate of title, a
Any
certificate is not a title. A certificate is a certification. It means, hey, one exists. This is our promise that one exists. Doesn't mean
This
you're
is
holding
also
it
our their guarantee that they can take your house away if you don't pay your taxes. Yep.
because they're holding it. They're holding the title. You know, you're holding a piece of paper that says, yep, title exists, and you think it's the title.
Well, I moved to Florida from May through December 2008, and I opened up a loan modification company because it was interesting to do. I had a partner who had legal documents in Spanish, so I had to convert them all to English and rewrite them, the whole thing, the entire package on how to modify a home loan. just had to crash course and learn it. So I saved 844 homes from foreclosure in 5 months. That's $844,000, $1,000 per home. And then he only modified 2 loans. He went to prison attorney, and November they started started ignoring us because we had threatened to sue them. The second takes second precedence to the main loan. If the house is depreciated more than the value of the second must be abolished. And the reduction of the interest rates and forgiveness of all past dues and payment reduction and blah, 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 blah. But those were easy to do. $1,000 a home in my pocket, charge $3,000 to the client. Well, he had a sales staff of maybe 14 people answering the phone when the 4 Mexican radio stations would play simultaneously the ad for our company, and then 2 English ones. So that's 6 stations broadcasting every 20, 30, 40 minutes. So it's sun up until midnight or 1 in the morning modifying loans. And he had a sales staff of 13 people. So you can imagine the flow. And he only modified 2 homes.
So how did you do it?
Do what?
How did you get rid of the loans?
Mine are handled. The attorney does. There's a paperwork we use through the attorney, and it goes over to the loan modification company. We challenged them for the title too, because they had transferred, and I don't know about real estate, but the banks were selling the title, moving the titles between banks, selling them to each other, the title companies. And usually by the 3rd transfer or 3rd shift, they would lose the original title. It's just so much was going on at once. When you challenged them for the title, produce the title, they didn't have it.
I heard about this. Okay, I heard about this. So how did anybody ever produce a title?
On rare occasion.
Yeah, and then
they were too swamped and too busy. They just modify it. They still make money even when they modify it. They don't lose any money. Are you kidding? Just because they reduce the principal get rid of the second and forgive all past dues and reduce this and that and the other, it doesn't mean they lose any money. They still make money. They still own your house.
Yeah.
So and the people with the new arrangements and the new economy still would be able to make payments over time, and they don't. They lose the house again anyway. So
right.
Same story. So without getting all into it, because it's done and over, and I did my thing the right way. I was allowed to leave once they ransacked everything.
Now, doing the right way, I mean, basically they came down on you because they didn't like what you were doing, or because they thought you were actually breaking the law?
No, because all the homeowners that weren't getting their houses taken after they paid $3,000 to the partner of mine, his side of it, they were losing their houses. So it made a big stink, and there's people out in the streets, all out across the intersection to the next parking lot, helicopter and cops. And I said, well, it's time to go home. He was trying to get a passport to leave the country, and got picked up. He went across the country and liquidated all of his little strip malls and sold everything off for about a month, and then showed up in Santa Ana, I think, California, trying to get his passport, and they got him.
Wow.
Yeah. So for him, $2,000 a home times God knows how many. 13 sales staff. I just did 844 on my own. I don't have a sales staff.
Mm-hmm.
So
and so you were legally fine.
Yes.
Because why?
I never do anything that's I don't do illegal things. It's just not unless I'm hired to. But I don't do anything, especially that. I knew the penalties would be really stiff.
Mm-hmm. And so
those are families. Those are people, families with kids, and that's you step up to help the family and keep their home and stuff. You better do it right, or don't do
it. And did that process work? They were clear afterward. Yeah. Because
the loan companies were threatened with exposure, media exposure. That was another thing we used. We had a whole list of things that would happen if they didn't modify the loan. And then they got wise and started contacting the homeowner, asking a few key questions. Homeowner answers them wrong. Everything's out the window.
Oh, okay.
In a nutshell.
Right.
So
Wow, that's interesting.
life can be.
So it looked like you. I mean, you when you find opportunities, you kind of jumped on them. You
Yeah.
know, when something where you could do something, make a living, help people, whatever it was.
I love helping. Yeah, anything that's helpful like that is good. Um, that's something that's always been in me, asshole in the past or not. But just get you try working 6 a.m. to midnight, pretty typically 6 days a week, and see how nice you are. You know,
Mm.
it's
Wow.
yeah, uh, yeah.
Well, is there anybody on the chat room that has some questions
For Russ.
for anybody?
Yeah.
That's
Anybody,
what is time? It's 8 o'clock. It's 8:04 here. So
Whoa.
anyone seen UFOs lately? Anything else? I'm done. I forgot I was on this video chat, kind of. You know, but whatever. I don't care. Life's what you make it, man. So you can sit and, you know, one thing that gets me upset, because, you know, like I have done a together or 2 quarters sometimes, but I never say I can't afford something. If I want it, I make it happen. Everybody has that same power. You make your life what it is. You attract what you need.
yeah, it's yeah. Life has been quite a journey.
Yeah, I mean, I've been homeless for 1.5 years the first time, and then a year the second time when I was younger, before and after the Marines. I lived in the bushes with a car cover for a blanket, a scooter, and I painted addresses on curbs and ate out of the dumpster behind Carl's. Stole food, shopped and ate. That's my first year before the Marines. So I've had both ends of the spectrum. I find it comfortable where you just be.
Mm-hmm.
Do good things and be, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kirsten.
Oh, I was just agreeing. I think I don't think that it takes, you know, all these things to make you happy. You know.
No. Oh God, I don't want it.
I see it differently, and most people don't see life that way. They're obtaining. You know.
Yeah, every one of our moderators also gets this whole concept too. So they all, just like if it was Kirsten or Natasha or Amy Lou, be anybody, they'd all say the same thing. These girls are spot on. You get it. It's a balance.
I get that too. Yeah, I left home about 3 months after my 18th birthday. Had nothing but a car with the starter didn't work, so I push started it for 3 months. Had friends who took me in. Literally, I mean, down Main Street. Anybody who's in Newport Richey, Florida, I was on Main Street pushing my powder room blue Gremlin over the bridge. Could it be any worse? Any worse? Why am I single? Tell me. Anybody tell me why? Because somebody posted a guy pushing his car, powder room blue Gremlin, over the bridge in Newport Richey, Florida, where everybody's grandmother lives.
La nueva
Nothing against
botella de
Newport
Pepsi.
Richey. It's a nice place. Florida's nice. But, yeah. Wow. 3 months of that, I couldn't afford a starter. $35 was way over my head at that time.
Imagine if YouTube had been around.
Oh no.
Oh man. I'd be trying to file DCMA, you know. Who are you? I'm the guy in the video pushing the powder room. Well, no, that's not me. Never mind. Forget it.
I had you remember those Chevy Love? Remember those Chevy Love pickups?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Chevy Love. It's old pickup trucks from like 1979. Chevy Love. there. It's called an LUV. It's a single cab, like it's very small. And the second homeless round, I had that car, and I had a shoelace for the carburetor. So you step on the gas, and the shoelace would pull the carburetor open, so you could drive. You know.
Oh.
And I lived by the beach, so I had a cat. So my cat lived in the truck with me, and I did sand from the beach in a cardboard box with a plastic bag, and that was a shit box on the passenger floor. You know, and everything I owned was in the back of the truck.
God. Holy cow!
Yeah,
I still have the oldest operating system.
you do. Yes. I love that. I love that.
Was that Windows 2000?
Yes,
Yes.
Windows 2000. Yes.
Yeah.
I have to go ahead. Regan. Say.
I do have an XP. I'm proud of it. I have an XP.
Okay. All right.
You and Hans have XPs. That's
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
You're ahead of Russ.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. I got to tell you about my powder room blue. It was actually called powder room blue gremlin. I was driving down. It was what my parents gave me. You know, it was my mother's color. She wanted the powder room blue gremlin, and I inherited it. So I'm driving down. Highway 19 is the big artery that goes down the Gulf Coast through. I mean, it goes all the way up, like to Cedar Key, all the way down through Spring Hill, Pasco County, Port Richey, goes down into Clearwater, St. Pete, goes down and keep going to Sarasota. I mean, it's all the way down the coast, Highway 19. So I'm just off Highway 19 in Holiday, Darlington Avenue. I know exactly. I'll never forget this. With my friend, I was in a band. The singer of the band's in the car. I'm driving. Smoke starts blowing out. The defrost blower turns on full blast. So much smoke starts pouring out that I can't see the road. So I screeched the car in the middle of the road, and this is a pretty busy road. We open the doors and we run away from the car, and there's smoke pouring up out of the car, just like plumes, and we're just sitting there like, oh my God, is it going to explode? What's going to happen? And cars are like going around, and we're just sitting there. And then everybody keeps going around us, and the smoke clears, and the car's still sitting there idling. And so we get in it and drive to where I was staying at the time. Friends had taken me in because I didn't have any place to stay right after I moved out at home. So I rewired it with Radio Shack parts and had a push button starter. You'd flip a switch to engage the coil. Then you would put in a little Radio Shack key and you'd put in a Radio Shack, a little key from a little electrical switch from Radio Shack to engage the ignition. You push a button to start it. My little stoplights were little toggle switches, and I mounted this metal box above the windshield, like where the rear view mirror goes, and that was my control panel. Totally took the dash out because I had to rewire everything, so the dash was completely removed. So I had this Batmobile, powder room blue, totally rigged up Batmobile for quite a while, and that was just, those are the glory days right there, I'll tell you.
Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Yeah, your video went to a picture.
Yeah, me and Kirsten got 4-hour chat limits. Now I need Skype Premium to make a group video call. So how do I get back on this call?
Yeah, Hans also went to a graphic.
Yeah, I don't know what happened because I see just.
I just turned my video
pictures. Okay, I will turn
back on.
Yeah, maybe it works again.
I see it now.
I mean, I bought the premium
There we
version,
go.
so it's normally it's enough when one of the callers have that premium service. So it's working again. Okay.
We're all back.
Yep.
Dude, I love your gremlin smoke story. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, it's
See?
funny that gremlin. My parents, my stepfather was medical in the medical industry, and they put air conditioning in that little gremlin. And so to freak out people, I could turn, because I rewired everything, I could turn on the compressor without turning on the fan. So I would go to stoplights as we would be sitting there in traffic, and of course the traffic was just backed up. So the thing was freezing cold, and I'd throw the blower on full blast while we were sitting in traffic, and smoke would just blow out of it just.
Weren't those great times, Russ?
You know, when you have nothing to entertain yourself with and you have to resort to that, it's the thing you remember. So, and I would freak out. The best part was freaking out the passenger. I did it to all my friends one by one. Oh, God! Whoa, God! You know, open the door. I'm like, no, get in. We're in traffic. I love playing jokes on people.
See, oops, yeah.
You can hear the cop on there's a powder room blue. Just ignore it. Looks like it's on fire on Highway 19 in the center lane. Oh man.
See, so life's not so bad. You know what I mean? That's great.
Yeah.
I
Who are those 9 people who are still listening to us?
don't. COINTELPRO taking notes. So we need to check Rob's IRS status. Yeah, fuck you, IRS. Give me a shot.
They're all from the CIA, just laughing him.
I don't care. It's got to be a snatch and grab. They're not getting.
Turn into a comedy show. Though. Let's do our Kermit the Frog impersonation.
Yeah, well, but when I say like, you know, this stuff can be done, I'm doing it. So it's very real. People don't look. They're afraid to try. They're afraid. You know, get up and just do it. Don't be you're not a slave. Nobody owns you.
Yeah, I think it is. It is really scary for people.
I'm done being owned. Fuck that. I'm not going to be owned by anybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am. We were all attorneys in this country at one time, and you know, everybody was considered legally a lawyer. And you know what the book for the lawyer was? The Bible.
The Bible.
That's right. So everybody had one on their fireplace. Every lawyer in the land, every person was a lawyer. So,
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. So
What are you intrigued about?
just the entire common law process. I just I'm blown away every time I open up a new topic in there and look at it. I don't know how I do all these things with one brain, but I do. At least I'm not counterfeiting. At least I'm not counterfeiting Visa cards or hacking Bank of America. You know, that's like the other family members.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so empowering. I mean, I loved reading the information, and I did come close. I was actually trying to talk my business partner into trying to get out of the system. And, you know, we both realized we didn't know enough at the time, and we were trying to run a business, and we were trying to get out of our jobs because we hated our job. Well, mostly hated our jobs. And we're at the end. And, you know, and then we got into our own business, and when you're in business for yourself, you know, you're married to it. I mean, you work longer hours than anything, and we kind of just left it behind, you know, just kind of fell off the agenda.
I did a Nevada Corp once just to get it to show up on the internet and then let it close, because I've always ran businesses out of unincorporated cities. So there's no need for a business license that way.
So Nevada's an unincorporated city?
No, Nevada was where I did a corporation. And then I let that close, but it's on the internet even to this day. 1-800-COMSERVE Inc., you know. I used to have a phone number, 949-888-8888. And one day I decided, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I sold it on eBay for $8,888.88. And I never
And it's-
thought that I could have resold that number by region in every state. Like a car dealership that advertises in an area would pay $300-400 a month for that number, a vanity number. And so anybody calls in that zone would go to that dealer. And then I can go to the next city and do the same thing. Attorney firm, car dealership, real estate office. I had unlimited potential to make. You too can make living like me, girl on each arm. I mean, I could have done that. You too can be like Don Wu. Remember that commercial? Those commercials?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You too can have nice car and girl on each arm. I blew that. So,
Oh, Kirsten is gone. It looks like, huh?
she's on a laptop walking around her house.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
She told me.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Not any of that camera phone stuff. So.
Yeah, now I got to be careful and like explain myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, work on that reputation there.
Whatever. That's the problem. At least now it's funny, so people get it now.
Oh, that's good.
I hope. Yeah. Well, I don't really care, but I mean, I'm gonna do what I do anyway. But it's always for good.
Well, I'm glad to be involved in the chemtrail thing. Oh, I see an image there, sort of.
Oh,
question.
accept. I don't know why I got asked to accept it, but anytime. There you go. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, as if you
I
never
got
left.
bumped off.
Duh.
I
I'm
got
here.
bumped off. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's wild times we live in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is wild. When we've got groups online to fight geoengineering and people want to break free from the slavery they're in. And
Governments spraying their people with poisons. I mean,
yeah, and poison food. What? Look around, and it's like, wow,
food that produces insecticides.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Right.
what an interesting world, What an interesting, And I got to pick the nuttiest thing to go after, the hardest insanity, I think it's the one most important thing next to being radiated with radiation.
Yeah, it seems to me that you're talking about the whole geoengineering
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
There's nothing bigger than this. That
We can't do anything about the radiation. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I feel we can't. So I figure if we're not cognitive enough to fight the rest of the battles, if we allow ourselves to be sprayed, we're not going to be smart enough to handle the other battles. So let's at least stop. Let's clean our air up.
Yeah.
Work on our food next. But
So-
hey, that's just me.
well, we were talking about this earlier, but how do we get the public to believe us? How do we get the whole public to believe?
People.
That I think.
What do you think?
Sorry, Rob.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's a very difficult task because you've got so much disinformation coming across the screen, being pumped into the house on 24/7, and none of it talks about any of this stuff.
No.
And if they do hear about it, the TV didn't tell them this, so they don't believe it.
Yeah. Or if the TV does say anything, that it's coined conspiracy.
La nueva botella de Pepsi.
I think part of this goes back to Mercury. Is that
Right.
Yeah, it
no?
must.
I know.
I know. You're
I
right.
know, I know. But Mercury, I call it the fear drug, and it's all about fear. Because if you can keep people so afraid of being alone, so afraid of being isolated, so afraid of what other people think of them, then as long as you can keep most people perceiving that if you believe these things, you're going to be outcast, then they can keep them all in their belief system.
That is true.
And Mercury
And it
makes
starts
you.
early.
Yes.
My advice to attaining what you want instead of sitting there in fear is if you see somebody that has something you want, do what that person does so you can get it. Replicate that person's process. You know, if you guys, a lot of people say, "Oh, we're so happy for what you're doing, and you guys are so wonderful," and you know, and that's so nice and so awesome to hear. But in my head, sometimes it rings like, you know, I appreciate that, but you know, if you admire that, then replicate it. You have the power to do the same thing. You know, I'm not bionic, and I'm not built to speak louder than other people. I just do. I don't give a shit because it's none of my business what other people think of me. That's part of my Tao belief. It's one of the sayings. It's none of your business what other people think of you. Don't worry about what other people think. You lead by example. People follow.
I also
you may create other great people behind you. You know, it spreads. It's infectious. What's that?
Yeah, I agree. I find that people have to be handled gently.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young, you think everybody's like you generally. I mean, or at least I did. And so, I mean, I could pour the information out because I'm a researcher. I love, you know, and I see people shutting down. And it took me a little while to realize you can't do that because when they shut down, nothing's happening. you have to, you know, and I see that the media, the powers that be, know people better than they know themselves.
Yes, they do.
So, and that is one of the key, and that's why I think you have to know yourself. You have to understand the good, the bad, the ugly, and understand how you work. And once you understand how you work, you can see how you're being manipulated through media. And people have no clue how they work. Most people.
No, they believe what they hear. It's social programming.
Yeah. And I love this subject because they don't, and I know I said this how many hours ago? It's 8:25 on the Eastern Seaboard here.
The show's just beginning.
I know. We're all hanging out here with Hans, having a good time. He's in the worst position there. He's struggling with his flu and you know, pushing the buttons and everything. But man, he's happy.
Yeah.
He's happy. Well, yeah. Okay.
It's just getting the day here. You know, now it's not more lights out, it's lights on here in Mexico.
Yeah, you screwed up the name, Hans. It's Project Lights On now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to re-advertise for you.
Exactly. I should see if there are chemtrails outside. Oh my god. I'm still sick from the last weekend bombing here. Oh my god. Okay, keep on, my friends. I will go to the bathroom. You keep on talking. I see you in 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. See, Hans actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Robert, we're thinking Robert is, but Hans has got the whole thing under control, man. He's got his hand on the button and running the show, and we're all thinking he's just a nice guy down there helping everybody out. You know, he's the man.
Yeah, he's not a UFO. He's a PLO. Project Lights Out. He's a PLO.
That's right. The PLO.
Mothership.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well, anyway. Yeah.
Well,
So
people go through 4 steps for learning information. So when we get people new in the group, I understand these things, and maybe people can let their guard down. You go through 4 phases. The first one's where you have incompetent consciousness. So you're awake, but you're incompetent. You're not aware
Go to the bathroom.
of what's going on, clearly. And when you finally realize what's going on, you reach a state of conscious incompetence. Now you're aware that you don't know, but all these things are in front of you. And then you begin to master this whole concept of chemtrails and what's going on, and then you enter a realm of conscious competence. So you have to kind of think about it. You're conscious, but you're conscious that you're competent. and then it becomes second nature, and that's where you gotta be. I have to remember people come in, like I just rattle stuff off. I don't know what I'm gonna say next. It just comes out, and that's the final phase, the fourth step of unconscious competence. That's where you unconsciously know. Compared to tying a shoelace, kids don't know anything about tying a shoelace. Incompetent consciousness. And then they learn that they need to know how to tie their shoelace, but they can't, so they have conscious incompetence. They're aware that they can't tie their shoelace. Then they finally learn to do it, but they have to think about it, and that's conscious competence. And then you finally tie your shoelace without thinking about it, without even looking. That's unconscious competence. There's 4 steps to learning. So,
Yeah,
that makes
totally.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely, totally get
It's
that.
a tongue twister, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
And you have to have and then people that come into the group have to have a teachability index, which is where they have to have a willingness to learn and a willingness to change or to accept change. So the ones that come in rigid, this is the way it is and it can't be, and they fight. And I've given up once I realized that they don't, there's a teachability index of every member that comes in from 0 to 10. 0 being unable to learn, unable to change. There is no flexibility. They're not going to last in the group. They're not going to storm out the mad. And you have the ones that are just sponges. They have a willingness to learn and a willingness to accept change, even if it's scary. So I approach the group with a process that involves these things, But I've had to learn this over this year. I didn't know that in the beginning, so I would rant. Al and I would take turns being assholes. Get your blood work, But now we're pretty passive, and we realize we're not, can't do this right. We don't know what we're doing. There's no manual. We try, but these girls can do it. These 7 moderators have made a big difference. I love Kirsten. All of them. They're just great.
Yeah, I've started this project called NGO Engineering Project, which is where I'm trying to get everybody to put a sign in their front yard. And so far, 29 people. Good start. We're off. We need 10,000 people, but this is how these things start. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I just want to talk about whether this is really a good idea or not. Tell me what you think. I looked at the whole situation about how people follow other people. People follow what the perceived mass is because they feel safe in numbers, and they don't want to. They're not going to put a sign in their front if they think it's going to late them from the group. But if there are enough people doing it, it makes the barrier smaller for them if they have emotional feelings about this.
People are tribal by nature, so it has to be designed with that in mind. Create a tribal, a grouping, a safety net, a comfort zone, right?
Exactly, and that's really, when I sat back, I tried to figure out how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? And it's got to be social pressure. I mean, if you think about the biggest things that the elite, so-called elite, do, they do things by law. Yes, they do things by force. But most of the things they do are by social pressure. I mean, the real core changes in people are social pressure. And so this is what I want to do. This is and I'm hoping that this is a good idea. If we can get the 100th monkey to do this, if we can get enough people to do this past the tipping point, maybe. I've seen this happen in my family. I won't go into that. Where they reach a point where they start accepting, like you're saying, conscious incompetence is where you're starting to.
You were listening.
I was, yeah. I've never heard those terms before, and put it that way ever. But it makes total sense. I totally agree. Yeah, that's good. That's a good.
There's more where that came from, but it's just too much.
I have a feeling. So I don't know. The idea with the signs is a mechanism for social pressure, where the leaders and the early adopters can get those signs out, and it will help the people with bigger barrier to get their barriers down, get their emotional barriers down, create social pressure.
I think, well, if we put them in our yards, whoever the first 29 people are, we all take pictures of them in our yards. Maybe us next to the sign. I'm gonna get
Yes.
naked. I'm gonna get naked behind my sign. So I'm gonna be on the street corner. I'll put a picture up. I'll have pictures in the crowd. People want to do it. Well, an album.
Well, it's funny to say about taking pictures though. Seriously, I actually was going to do that. I was going to ask people to send their pictures in and post pictures of their again, to create that social pressure, to get people to say, look, this is okay to do. This is what we're doing. You know, it creates more permission for people to
Look,
do
I
it.
didn't get taken over.
Yeah, look, I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know, the county commissioners didn't come down on me. All is well.
Sometimes I'm extra loud just to prove a point that it's okay to be loud. Some people like it, some people don't. But there's social obstacles. You have to. People react. I don't know. Just social programming. You gotta understand it. You do. So yeah, by example, we're gonna have our sign up and yeah, picture this and available. I'll make a banner with 29 members, a mini one, the chemtrail picture. It'll be all of us in our yards.
Well, the next step well, it sounds like you like the idea, and the next step that I was hoping is have pens and pencils, thumb drives, business card. I mean, just have this message everywhere, so someone who may not be brave enough to put this sign in their yard, well, they could put pencils in their workplace or pens, you know, or they could
pins. One of my family members became a millionaire. They're all that way, but one of them became a millionaire by simply leaving pins everywhere he went. Even if he showed up to someone's house and they didn't answer the door, he'd just drop a pin on the ground in the dirt below. And he had his business.
I've got an idea. Oh, sorry.
What's your idea, girly? Hey, ladies
Well,
first.
it wasn't my idea, but it was something that I saw this last election cycle, which was sticky notes. You know, so you have like an entire tablet of sticky notes, and on every single piece of sticky note was a message about the economy, but it could be a message about the thing. And so these people were ripping them off and sticking them on the gas pump or sticking them on, you know, just wherever they were, the bus sign, you know, anywhere that they were, they could just rip them off and stick them on there with websites and that kind of information.
That's
you know,
cheaper
so that
than,
people
that's
can
cheaper
take
than
it.
pins. That's cheaper than pins.
I know. And people take it, you know, little 3x3 or 4x6 sticky note.
3x3 is cheaper. There's a cheaper.
Yeah, and you get enough. Right, and you get enough information on it.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing is all you need is a website. And then the website does the work for you.
You know, I've seen ads before where it's just a piece of paper with a website, no explanation. You're like, what was this? You know?
That's part of the idea. Is that if you can get all this paraphernalia with this one website on it, just says "End Geoengineering." Well, most people don't know what geoengineering is, so they're going to see this 3 or 4 times, and by the 4th or 5th time, hopefully, sooner they're going to go, okay, fine. You know, what is this? What's going on?
Unfortunately, the public's been trained to think the word chemtrail, which really irks me. I try not to use that word when I write things. I do sometimes, but it's deliberate when I do. Just effort to use the word geoengineering to kind of get people to do that and not use the word chemtrail. But unfortunately, like with those public ads and things, maybe the word chemtrail will be more effective. You know?
You think chemtrail would be more effective?
For a first hit on somebody brand new, yeah, probably the word chemtrail, even though I despise that term.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that by keeping, like I put a lot of soul into the design of the sign to keep it simple, but have a lot of symbology going on. And my hope is that it's a good enough design, you know, that same color and the same could be throughout our stickers and cards and pens and thumb drives and whatever. And so everybody will instantly know, right brain, they'll recognize these are all the same thing. Even if they don't read it, they'll be like, this is the same thing I saw in front of somebody's yard. This is the same thing I saw on that bumper sticker, you know. And so it just creates that curiosity. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's marketing 101.
Are you a marketer?
The most brilliant.
I'm a business owner.
Oh, really? Really?
I'm a business owner. I certainly am a marketer.
The most brilliant bumper sticker I think I've seen with, as far as just a web address goes, is Infowars.com. I mean, good lord. Those are bumper stickers. Yep. It's just the web address, and it speaks volumes. So I think GlobalSkywatch.com bumper stickers would be great.
I have those already made up.
Well, what are you doing? What are they, in a drawer? Those aren't
I have put them, I mean, they're in the banner of our group. I have sent out newsletters. I've distributed about 100 of them in 4 months. I mean, you just can't give people, and they're not expensive. I mean, they're $4.50, I think, for one, and that includes shipping. If you buy, it gets very cheap if you buy 10 or 5. I mean, it's just, I made them as cheap as I could. So
you go to a high school and offer them $10 to go skis on everything they can find.
Yeah. So, Kirsten, what business have I got there?
Hello, good morning. I have a new person here on the Skype call. Can you hear us?
I can hear everybody if you're referring to me.
Yes, referring to you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Tell us about
glad
you.
To be here.
Yeah, glad to
I'm
to
sorry?
have you here. Tell us about you. Who are you? Where are you from? Etc. Etc.
Sure. My name is Tammy Raxico. I live in Timmins, Canada. I've been dealing with the Morgellons sores for about 5 years now, like open lesions. I think I've got things figured out now, but I had to stop working 4 weeks ago because of the sores. The pain was too much, and obviously you can see by my scars I have been suffering. In that time, I started researching to find out what I had and why I couldn't get help, and how come every door has been shut in front of me, looking like this and dealing what I'm dealing with. And I am appalled at what I've found, and with all the information I found, and finding out also I'm not the only one. What a relief that was. I have to tell you, that was more healing than getting rid of a sore. Things are starting to click.
You're from Canada?
Yes, I am. Way up in northern Ontario, Canada, where the trees are starting to concern me, and the new mining going on is starting to concern me. The Indian treaties are starting to concern me. Everything around me is just click, click, click. How come nobody's paying attention and ignoring? And for the advances we have right now, why are we not succeeding and advancing? And how come everybody's getting so sick and everything's overwhelmed and the money's not there? How is that all possible when you see someone like me struggling so much and losing everything but still keep trying to struggle? I don't get it. I went to college to become a professional animal groomer. I think that and an exposure was how I got it.
Yep.
And I'm a health.
Dogs, chickens.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm also into the healthcare profession where I work with first aid. I'm a first aid instructor. I'm an office administrator. I'm the unit chief for the adult patient care in my community. I don't get how I'm being treated with the information and knowledge I have and the kind of person I am. I'm maybe 6 feet tall and look a little scary, but I'm the nicest person once you get past that. Yeah, I know, that's how it is. I usually explain that when I meet people because they're like, hi! But no, I really...
Have you and I talked or exchanged?
Yes, we have, as a matter of fact. You're on my Facebook group called Morgellons, much more than that, and that's how we met.
I know who you are. That's right.
You do know who I am. I just want to thank you too, Russ, for all the wonderful help and information. I've met so many people that are just like me and have similar stories and similar discomforts, and nobody listens, and we know we're not crazy. We know we're not doing this to ourselves, and yet we're pushed to make ourselves believe that, yeah, maybe you are crazy doing this to yourself, but you try so hard to be healthy and do all the right things and eat right, all the right foods like they're telling us to do, because this is healthy for you, when in essence it's all a lie. And me thinking I'm being healthy is just poisoning me more. I have learned so much in the last week and a half researching what I'm discovering than I have in the 5 years trying to...
I've been pushing you and pushing buttons for you constantly, huh?
Yeah, well, my concept is if nobody's listening, watch me do my struggle, because I'm going through the steps and I'm going through the all this information because it's totally sci-fi. But I'll tell you something, people. If I wasn't living this horrid, painful nightmare, I would not be believing this now. And I'm telling you, this is happening. This is real. I see the rises in autistic children, the diseases, the sicknesses, the news. And with the technology we have for all this space stuff and computer technology, how come that's not there to help someone like me who's been ignored for 5 years? And
because
I'm
you're not because you're not in the club.
Exactly. Exactly. Now I'm not just doing this just for me. I'm doing this for everybody who I found out are like me. Will become like me. It's not worse. And it has to stop. And this is what I'm telling on my Facebook group, that I feel like I'm part of the school of fish and I'm caught in a V-net. Now my only go to my ultimate doom or and try and save myself and bring a couple friends with me. Those are my choices as I see it with information I've found. And now I'm trying my hardest to make people explain that, because I understand Dr. Parnicom, wonderful man. I consider him my hero because he was the very first person I started researching about my Morgellons. I read his chemistry paper, and my grade 9 science actually worked for me, thank God, because I understood some of what he was trying to tell me. I'm not good on the big words, but I got it. I figured out something's going on, and he accidentally discovers a relationship, and it's interesting. And for him to not be listened to when we have all these smart people and all this information around us, found that I and people like me are, and Dr. Position, people like me are just left to suffer, and it's gonna get nothing but worse from what I see. I'm like a chess player. I think steps ahead of stuff, and my future steps are not looking good as well as everybody else. And I'm truly scared. But I've wrapped my head around it, and I'm making my voice known. So with my Facebook group, like I've been saying, you can watch my progress, find out what I've learned. Everything on my group, I've read first. I wrapped my head around to understand it. If I didn't understand it, I asked questions because I've met some wonderful people to help me. And this is where I stand now, and now I get to listen to wonderful people like you with more insight, more valuable information to make more click happen. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for letting me vent. I get verbal diarrhea, but I think it's like 5 years of internalizing everything happening to me, and now someone's finally realizing and believing. I can express this to you all now. This is me, this is how I am, this is how I look, and this is just my face. And I'm just afraid for you, me, my son, my family, my pets. I'd love to garden, but I'm afraid. I did all of it. I love gardening, I love camping, I love fishing, and now I'm afraid to do anything. I'm even afraid to eat now. My son told me this morning, Mom, you've lost some weight. I really noticed. And I'm like, well, I switched to organic food. I really don't know what to eat anymore. Like, it really makes you stop and think. And then you look around at all the luxury we have and how sedated in our lifestyles we got. And I've always thought for years, you know, something happened and I had been from off. Because I don't know how to grow food properly. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I know basics, but would I be able to do that for months and months? I was an air cadet. I didn't get basic life skills and training, people. I'm just your normal Joe trying to make it in a really crazy world right now. So, like, I don't know what more to say, what more to think, but the facts I've been presented, I'm only led to believe certain things, and that's my opinion, and believe me, I respect everyone else's opinion. You can believe what you want, but you need to find the facts. I'm doing all the work right now for everybody who's working, doesn't have time, or just doesn't think about it. I'm doing the work while I'm no longer able to work. You know, before I lose everything because I need money. I don't know how I'm gonna manage that one. But you know, I'm doing what I can for the higher power. And I don't know if people understand that, but you know when something's right and you just get that little internal push to get you to go. I have that. I get that internal vibration that says, yeah, Tam, you go with it because this is the right thing. And I'm trusting my inner gut. I'm trusting my moral and ethical values. And I'm just trusting me because I believe in me. And I believe in the greater good. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the whole situation until I can actually get all the information and see a voice, a unity, a recognition of what's really going on. And this can be reversed because I also think I have hope now. I have an understanding, I have the knowledge, I have people supporting me, and we can do that for everybody else. This can be reversed. Excuse me. This can be changed. So I'm hoping that with my voice, I can get people to listen in the simplest form. Watch my process, watch my step. I'm waiting for a microscope to see if what I'm seeing on the computer is exactly what is coming out of these awful sores. And if you do go to my group, you will see actual pictures of me from before to when I believe it started, to the whole process, to pretty much where I am now, and as you see me today. Like, the sores are nasty. This was the first one that started, and it went right into my jawbone, so every time I smiled, laughed, or ate, it scratched my jawbone. And then this one happened, and it's so large, people actually asked me if I was burned, and I'd say, oh man, yeah, and it hurt like a bitch. I can't tell them. I had to sit there and pull these things out and watch it seep and crack and wait months for it to heal. And it wasn't just that one, it was this one at the same time. Try and sleep on your pillow with something like that. I was sleeping like this because I didn't click I needed bandages because I didn't think it was that bad, but I'd already seen 4 different doctors and not one of them offered any suggestive advice for my comfort, my pain, or my infections. Like, I don't understand how you can just turn away and you see the signs, but you're not listening to my symptoms, and then they're relating to other symptoms, and now you're calling me a hypochondriac and I'm looking for attention. Trust me, people, I get attention. One look at me and I'm either asked, oh my god, did your boyfriend beat you up? Holy jeez, did you burn yourself with cigarettes? Are you doing sissy tests? Oh my god, are you a picker? I think the best one was when I was working in a coffee shop and a little girl, she came up to me and she said, oh, how did you get your bubble? And I looked at her, I didn't want to scare her, and I said, you know, sweetheart, my mommy kept telling me I needed to eat my peas and carrots when I was a kid, and I didn't do it. I think next time mommy says eat your veggies, you should listen. So absolutely, she looked at me, she smiled and said, that's a really good idea, she said. And off she went, and I gave her extra sprinkles on her sundae because she was just a sweetie, and she didn't condemn, she didn't judge me, she didn't stereotype me or put me in that spot us Morgies are at. But I think I put that little seed in her head, and she's going to think about that, because when her time comes and she gets older and she starts to see things and understand things, she's going to remember me, and she's going to remember what I look like and relate things. And that's how I want to plant my seed for all these people who are too busy to look at the real picture, little bits and pieces to make them stop and think, well, hopefully get this whole thing blowed wide open and the right people take an interest and get the ball happening. And that's all I have to say. So now that my verbal diarrhea is now vetted, I thank you for the time. I feel better. That was therapeutic. And I hope I actually made a difference to everybody that's listening. Thank you.
You know what I would do with your new site? It's I would start making documents people can reference and print or copy and share elsewhere.
I would do that, but Rob, I'm totally computer illiterate. Like, for me to do Skype right now was a mission. I was sweating to get on here, like, oh my god, and I'm clicking all the wrong things. And plus, being with Morgellons affliction, I am having cognitive problems with short-term memory and keeping things in order. Like, I hate how I spell now. When I was a kid, I read the Webster's Dictionary, and I could tell you the origin of that word. Now, I can barely spell anything. And Rob, since you've been chatting with me on my site, you understand my terrible spelling mistakes. It's awful. Like, thank God for spell check, because I don't think anybody can understand what I'm trying to say, especially when my fingers get verbal diarrhea. Whoa, look out. Thank you.
Right on. I love it. You always crack me up. You got a great spirit in you.
Well, thank you. I have to. I have nothing left, and this is my last kick at the can, because this is my life, man. What more have I got to lose? And you can't see, but I have sores, and they really hurt. I can't work because they really hurt. What more do I do? I can't get disability. I can't get anything. I can't get any help. I have to depend on my boyfriend to help me, support me and my son. It's a really difficult situation where you can't help yourself, and your independence has been just taken away from you. And believe me, I'm independent. Ask anybody who knows me.
Do you know my advice to you? If I could give you some, just real quick.
Sure.
Are you up for it?
Absolutely.
Remove.
Do I have to write it down because I forget things?
No. It's just the omission of one word, and that's the word can't.
That's right.
Well, you know that, but you need to know that and try.
Yeah.
That.
I think this
If I could say anything for one day, just today, until you go to sleep, you can not type or say the word I can't, just for one day, and see where that takes you.
I tell you, Rob, I totally agree with what you say, and in the last 2 weeks, that's actually my term. No, I understand that. But yeah, that's my focal point has changed, and my outlook has totally changed because of meeting other people like me, realizing that, yeah, this is a real disease, syndrome, whatever you want to call it, and 600,000 people are affected because that's only what you see. But unbelievable. My mind is totally different. I have hope. I can just have people supporting my backbone, and they are gonna hold me up while I continue to do this. I didn't have that before, so that's where the disease kind of gets you into that vignette deal. When I stopped work, I'm waiting to die. This is it. Oh, I couldn't do anymore. But now, I got lots to do, and I got a big voice, and I plan on using that. Okay, I'm done now.
I'm to hear that. I hope that you get everything that you want. You mentioned you're 600,000 other people, so there's.
Yeah, I got that from Dr. Carnicom's phone conference the other day when I actually got to listen to him talk, and I actually got to call him and thank him personally for finding this and trying so hard to bring it out there. Here, like, if we are knowing we know and trying to make such a huge difference.
Well, we're waiting for one last little detail, and look for the 17th, which is Monday at 9 p.m. Pacific, and you'll actually be able, once we get the last piece of this with him, just a detail we're working out, we can make it a point to get you on the air to ask or talk to him directly versus
absolutely. You better send me messages every 5 minutes, because my memory is like, it's awful.
Do you think I have a problem keeping you in touch? I can do that.
Awesome. Good answer. You guys, you've all been great. The information has just been wonderful. Just a reconfirmation of everything that I've done. So thank you. Thank you all. Everyone, you get a huge hug. And thank you.
Yeah.
Since this morning. Did you just get up right now, or have you been on all night long? Are you there?
Did we just add some?
Oh yeah, I said, how long have you been listening or watching tonight? This thing.
Myself?
Yeah, how long have you been on with us?
Oh, gee, I think about 8 o'clock this morning. Before 8 o'clock this morning.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get my son off to school as well, so I've been like in and out. He listened for a little bit, and he was really paying attention because he knows what's going on. Because he's got to live with me living like this too,
Yeah.
and he's horrified that he might get it, and I think he might, but I just can't tell him that because I did have to pull something out of his head that looked like what I pull out of my body, and when I'm looking at it, I said, "Oh, Chico, it looks like mine," in his eye. And I had to stop, and I'm like, "Oh no, it's just a scab, son. You're right. You hit your head, and it's just a scab." And that's as far as I can go with that with him because he's terrified. Because he's seen what I'm dealing with. He's heard me cry. He's seen what I've had to do. I had to pull out some things, I hate to say, because I couldn't reach it, but it's rather get them out because the pain is too much.
How old is he?
He's 12 now. He was 6, 7 when this started in 2007.
I have my own 3 kids, so it's not a story-based suggestion. It's based on experience. I would convert your affliction in his eyes to a gift that
I have. As a matter of fact, I said
others.
Yeah, I told him this could be a good thing because with me having this, it brings awareness to everyone else because you can't hide this. I can't hide this. I've been teaching first aid for 3 years with my face like this, cracking when I talk, cracking when I smile, gobs of blood running down my cheeks. But I get up every day and I go to class and I teach my people. And I know when I'm losing their interest, but I'm goofy. You get my attitude, my character. I make sure I get their attention, and maybe some of my goofy things I say or the goofy moves I do, they may remember that in a time of need when they are trying to save someone's life. Because that's a lot of information I have to push at them in 2 days. So I try and make it simple and for them to understand and comprehend so they're thinking for themselves. I'm not telling them and this is how it is. I'm giving them the opportunity to rationalize and work out the steps and process for self-thinking, which is so lacking in society. Like, and I'm not even going to go there. That's another story, but you know, everybody knows what I'm saying with that.
We haven't got to everybody, but I have my will, so.
Yeah, helping along that route. I really hope that we can make a difference.
We can. And we have.
I believe we will. You know, like I've got such a good start. The people, the backbone, like it floors me. It just floors me. Whereas 5 years I've been sitting in my little office trying to entertain myself, slowly going into myself, waiting to die because no one would help me. But I don't feel like that anymore. I smile now. I actually get dressed in the morning now, and you'll notice I thought this the most appropriate shirt to wear, if you can see it. It says "Screwed Over." It's from a hometown musical band that I know, that grew up with, and I thought, yeah, this was so appropriate if I was able to go online today. So, yeah, that's my mindset right now, people. But if you'll have to excuse me, I have to go with my dogs and some things. So, continue on and I will return.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Did you want me to shut down or just leave it like?
Whatever.
Yeah, if you want, you can hang up, and when you're back, you just call
asking
in.
because I'm thinking, well, maybe someone might have a question for me about this disease, or are we just getting right off sidetracked here? Because I don't know how long you started. No, it's all good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then just don't show me to the public, and I'll be back.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep listening. All right, are we good with that? Because I'm only wearing shorts, people, and you don't want to see my scarred leg.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, see you later then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have been spending a lot of time with her.
Yeah.
And keeping her spirits up.
Yeah.
How's the chat running? Is there questions in there we've been missing? Mr. Russ?
Nope. I don't see anything new going on in there.
Anyway,
Now, Karnak,
early here.
go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
I say anyway. It's still early here in Mexico. We have just 8 a.m. here, 2 past 8. So many people there are still working and everything. So I don't know. I see here there are 8 people connected at least. I don't know if there are more. 8 people. Yep, 8 people. So if you are here, I don't know what's your name of your of those 8 people, but if you have a question, we are online, we are live. You also can call in to Skype if you want. PLC Cancun is the Skype username to call in. I bring you in, no problem. There's no censorship. We are going to this route here, and yeah, you're welcome, everybody. This will last until midnight Mexican time, so we have still a lot of hours here, and there will also be more topics a little bit later about other things. Maybe I have a friend who knows about the UFOs. I'm still waiting until everybody is connecting. Some people wants to present their movements and so on. I mean, there's still a lot to talk here, so I'm here. If you want to talk, just give me an inbox message or whatever, or a message here on the live stream channel, and send me a friend request on Skype, and I will bring you in. So keep talking, you. I will put myself on mute.
How you doing, Russ?
Hanging in there, getting a little tired. I'm usually in bed about an hour ago. It's 9 o'clock here, so yeah. So what are we going to do to wake the public up to Morgellons and get these doctors to take this seriously? How do we create social pressure in this area?
Yeah, that's it. Social pressure. That's the key. That's the key right there. Maybe
La nueva botella de Pepsi es una chulada.
in certain
Tanto que
areas, directing all the people with Morgellons to a specific doctor, even if it's not a successful visit, having them show up one after another in the same office until they're forced to do something about it. Might even get media attention if the right people are told what's going on. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Targeting
The other
medical group or something, in an area.
Mhm.
A hospital, having all the people go in at one time, the same thing. Oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. If you had everybody go in at the same time.
I'd
Yeah.
like to see a whole
Load
group
it
of
down.
us get together, and just say, yeah, this is really happening. Look how many of us are actually affected. And think
Yeah.
about the children that are being born with all this autism and diseases we never heard before.
Yeah.
Like, get us together, and there's your proof, people. Here we are. We're not hiding anymore, because that's what we've been forced to do, is hide.
Kind of an emergency room bombardment / protest / here we are, look what's up, we want help.
Yeah.
We've all got the same thing. What are you going to do about it?
I've gone into my doctor's office. Sorry, Rob, to cut you off, but I've gone into my doctor's office and I've had him look up Morgellons on his medical research website that he's supposed to look at, and it says delusional parapsychosis. And I looked at him and said, "That's such bullshit. You need to update your records." But his hands
No.
are tied.
It's not the records, it's CDC's report.
Exactly. They're the governing body, and they are the ones that are really making this an issue.
But it
Them and a
doesn't
bunch
work.
of other things, from what I've learned.
It doesn't work if everybody in each region or area went to that emergency room on a special day. Hey, we got Project Lights Out on 12/12/12. Well, what about all the Morgellons members going to the specifically pre-picked hospitals in each area?
I like that idea. But then you have to think of the cost. Like for me, myself, I would love to go, but I had to stop working 4 weeks ago, and my future is going to start getting very stressful very soon.
Well,
So,
Locating people in your area over the next few months. and
I would love
allocating
to.
them.
I would love to, but 5 years I've been dealing with this in Ontario, and I'm the only one I know of. I thought I truly was the only one in the world like this until I found the word Morgellons 4 months ago, and started researching 2 weeks ago. And this is where I find myself now. And that's all I have to say about that. So this is my beginning. I'm such a newbie. I hate to use the word virginal, but that's pretty much how I feel, because I don't know a lot of anything in the process to find the right doctor.
That word.
Thank you. I have a few colorful ones, believe me, but in the right company.
Do you guys use Craigslist there?
No, I don't.
What is the local free advertising for your area?
It's Miser. We don't have the same stuff as you guys do. It's Miser, Myzer, I believe
Is it free to run ads?
Yes, it is, and that's another good idea. I hadn't thought of that. I've been so working on my group with Facebook and getting a little following happening there. And I'm actually seeing some results, and I'm really happy about that, because people that know me are actually seeing, because they know me. They knew me what I was before. I was strong, athletic, beautiful person. I could sing. I was artistic. I could hit home runs better than most men. And 5 years later, I can barely clean my house. And I have these awful sores, and I have these debilitating symptoms. They see something's going on.
Run an ad on that site.
That's a great idea.
Directing people in the local area to your Facebook page.
Yeah.
And begin.
What I'm trying to do right now on my Facebook wine test for Morgellons. It's a simple test. You take some red wine, you swish after you brush your teeth and floss. You swish it in your mouth. You're shaking your head, Rob. Is there something wrong with that?
Go ahead. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead.
Okay, so anyways, if you do this wine test, you take the red wine, you swish it for 30 seconds, you spit it out into a coffee filter or a white bowl, and you're supposed to be able to see these filaments in there, and that's supposed to tell you if you have contracted Morgellons. From what I understand with the information I've gained, 8 out of 10 people are testing positive. So on my Facebook page, I'm trying to actually find people that are willing to do this wine test and tell me if they're negative. All they gotta do is click like, private message me. I don't care, but I want to know some numbers, because if this is right, it's staggering. And this is me doing influencing me in any way. I have my mind. I'm pretty good at showing sometimes. So this is me looking for my information. I also kind of found a relationship to the fact that I have in my family, my grandparents, I have 3 of them that were military. One had an accident and had to have antibiotics. Another one was a war bride that was, from what I understand, they were lined up and soldiers came in and picked family. So I'm assuming in that situation she probably would have had inoculation as well. So I'm making that connection to where I am now. And I'm looking around at my other family, like the ones that I know, and I have someone close to me as well that had issues all her life, but not the sores, but really unexplained issues were ever resolved. And as talking to her last night, she hasn't been able to work for 15. Her debilitating information I've learned, I started to share with her. She's saying, but everybody needs to understand to talk to Dr. Carnicom again. I think some of the questions I would ask him, because I understand he's a chemist. He has a hard time taking his chemistry thinking and relating it to a normal Joe like me. So I think if I were to sit with him and say, okay, well, you say this and I understand it this way, how does that work like this, or something like that. I'm trying to form up a list if I get the opportunity, because I know, Rob, your thing is coming up on the 17th, I believe you said it was.
Yep.
I'm going to try and prepare myself for that and ask appropriate questions so that people that are listening, they'll try to get the normal Joe version of what he's trying to say, because I think that's where the difficulty is. The normal Joe version becomes so conditioned a certain that just how I feel. Do it again, didn't I?
Now, you're heading out.
Thank you. Yeah, it's therapeutic more than any bandage. Let me know. Honey and bandages. That's my 5-year thing.
What's that? Your
Guys, honey and bandages is what I put in my sores. That's what's got me through all this time. Because everything the doctors have suggested for me to help me has either failed miserably or really made things worse and tortured me. And I can't believe they leave me in that much pain and do nothing and say, oh, well, I don't know, you must be doing it to yourself. The stuff in your environment is changing, making a chemical reaction in your brain, and this is your end result. And I'm like, are you kidding me? My life is not that stressful. I keep all negative away from me. That's how I've always been. How can you tell me, after all these years of being so careful and being health conscious, that I'm doing this to myself and now I'm mentally crazy?
What phase of the affliction are you at? What are you pulling black specks out? Are you pulling?
I'm pulling out. I discovered with research, and I actually found a site that had stuff people pulling out.
Now, what do you see? Describe what you're seeing. What do you have?
White plugs, strings, clusters. A lot of my blood looks like it's clotting, but I know there's threadies in that. The itching is crazy, but the sores are unbelievable. And I have some that are in dormant state, kind of. They're scab, but I know underneath the scab it looks healed. I know underneath that there's a bunch of masses underneath. And I think the mass of these things when they reproduce is what really causes the pain, because they're hitting on the nerves and they don't move. And every time you move your muscles, arms, it stretches and pulls.
How long has it been? How long has it been?
5 years since the actual skin lesions have been there, and if you look on my website, my Facebook page, you will see the start to what I am now. It was horrid, the scars, and I haven't put a lot of the pictures up.
Did you ever have was it little black dots, little?
I do find them. I do find little black dots. I just think they're dirt. I get these curly things encased in white gelatin kind of stuff, all curled. Yeah, I call my plugs dehydrated whiteheads. They're rubbery, and I find if I don't get them out and I leave it there to heal like the doctors tell me I need to do,
it never heals.
And more of them seem to get together, and then they kind of join together and make a bigger issue and bigger sore. So I've just stopped listening to these people that are helping me, because it's been trial and error for me. What works for me is working for me. I've had a lot of people tell me home remedies. Oh, Tammy, what happened to your face? It looks like psoriasis. Well, my mother, and then they go. It's just I've done it all, seen it all, heard it all, tried it all. I'm done being an experiment. I'm doing what works for me, and it was tiny bandages, and I go through about 4 or 5 stainless steel tweezers a year trying to pull things out, because I feel everybody's, don't pick. Are you kidding me? If I don't pick, I am drove insane from a needle constantly sticking me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for months. If I don't pull that thing out and get that little bit of torturous pain, I'm going to have torturous pain for months. And there's a lot of people like me out there. You may see what I'm dealing with, but you're not feeling what I'm dealing with.
Does it bleed profusely until you get that piece out?
Yes. I've actually on my face had where it bleeds, where my face is actually stuck to the pillow while I slept, because it bled through the bandage.
Does it stop bleeding once you get the glob?
Once the thing is out, it stops instantly. I've actually pulled one out where I actually saw the blood flow, and I'm like, wow. And it was big, but I didn't know what I was dealing with. I just thought I had scar tissue and my skin was healing really funny, because that's all I could assume, because my doctors aren't telling me anything, and I'm first aid trained. I know medical stuff. This isn't normal.
Do you have random hard bumps that are appearing, little just bumps? And if you
I had those from childhood on. As a matter of fact, that's what makes me think about the military connection, because I always had what I called chicken skin. My son as well, my daughter as well, and I had the heart to tell him I'll be ready. My daughter's already starting showing signs, and she sees what he's going through. I think she's terrified. My daughter's 25. she doesn't talk to me. She doesn't come over. I think I scare her, and I think the reality of what she may be coming is scaring her because she's a beautiful girl, and I can totally understand because
Are
she
you-
watched me. Sorry.
Are you brushing, flossing, rinsing, and rebrushing, reflossing, re-rinsing before you do that wine test?
I haven't done the wine test. I also have false teeth because at 32, when I had my second child, who's now 12, I was born with no adult teeth, so a lot of my adult teeth were not replaced, or my baby teeth were not replaced by adult teeth. So what baby teeth were left turned black and had to be surgically removed, but they constantly chipped. They fell
So
out.
there's
I got
no-
abscesses.
So there's no place for plaque or anything that could be missed by
No.
flossing. So
I actually
then-
had someone very close to me last night do this wine test at my request, and I specified you have to brush your teeth and floss your teeth, because her first thing was to, but all the crap in my teeth, you're going to see it. I'm like, no, this is what you do. So she went ahead and she did the test, and I was online because we're not in the same town, and I was waiting, and I told her, don't be scared, I'm here, okay, but it's going to make you feel better. And she did it. And she said, that's gross. And I'm like, what? The taste of the wine or what you found? And she said, both.
yeah.
So,
I'm
yeah,
not.
that's-
I'm not.
go
A,
ahead, Russ.
even though Clifford is a supporter of the wine test, and his information is obviously gained by personal experimentation and everything,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
still
we
not
can-
a supporter of that test. I think that saliva does that in the wine, but
I
I'm
don't know.
interest-
I'm not a
I'm
drinker. I
interested-
couldn't tell you. I just
I'm
thought it was a
interest-
really interesting
I'm
observation.
interested to see what would happen since you don't have the issue with the teeth and the particles from food. If you actually have a clear mouth, in other words, in that way, I'm interested to see what happens. So, would you do that? Let me know. I'm curious what the result would be, and I'm sure
Well,
Clifford would be curious too, because I don't
Yeah.
think he's had any test subjects with no teeth in there. So,
Oh, these
I
ones
think-
are real. That's it.
see, this is a gift in a way. This is contributing. I think he would be
You know,
interested to know.
It's
La nueva
funny you
botella de
say that,
Pepsi
Rob,
está
I look back at my
rifa.
life and experiences, and I've had a lot of crap cross my path. A lot of it pretty bad. Like I could tell you about tumors, and I had a heart attack 2 years ago, and I'm only 44. I shouldn't be going through this shit. So with all that I'm going through, yeah, I'm not surprised, and I see where it's going. 'Cause I like me. I like to take care of myself, and I'm a nurturing person, and I like to help people. You know, so yeah, I'm really curious about the wine test, the statistics. I will go out and buy myself a bottle of wine because, as I said, I don't drink. But I'll do this just for you, Rob, because you asked me to.
Well, the
And I
idea,
will let you
the
know what
idea-
my results are.
yeah, you're a unique. You taking that test is more interesting than anyone else because of the situation with your adult teeth. So
Yeah.
I would be curious now based on that. But I sit here. I don't support the organite or the crystals or the vinegar in the bowls.
No, me either.
At 30,000 feet, nor the wine test. But that's just me, and that me stating this will probably piss off half of the people that will watch this. But hey, I cannot fathom vinegar clearing the sky at 30,000 feet. Nor do I find that valuable when they're still dumping shit in the sky. It doesn't do anything.
Agreed.
So anyway, but the wine test still, I have other theories on that, and so. But
It's the only one I
teeth,
heard is
without
really what
teeth,
it's
that is
about.
definitely a test. So, I'm
So glad to oblige, and I'm not going to do it in front of you because no one sees me without my teeth. I am that vain. Give me that much left.
yeah, we'll just get you a quick little spy packet over. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, good. I'll let Clifford know about your uniqueness with this wine test.
Thank
And,
you. Thank you very much.
Because I think this is useful.
Oh,
I got
that's
people
good.
waking up saying, "Sorry, I missed it," and I have to keep typing, "We're still on."
Okay, well, I'm gonna go try and have breakfast because I haven't done that yet because I've just been so entertained by you lovely people.
Thank you.
It's Russ. He did the belly dance earlier. Were you sleeping or did you see
I
that?
missed it! Oh!
Yeah,
Rerun.
he was.
Rob's going to give me a bad reputation. All I got to do is hang around with him a little longer, and I'll be in as much trouble as he is.
Yeah.
Oh, you corrective influences you. I think you're good people, and I think you're doing the right things for the right reasons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Going to eat, guys. I'll see you later. You want me to check in with you later? Because I think I'll just let you guys go and give you your time.
Yeah. Check in, of course, right? I mean, Hans.
Ah,
Of course.
the day just started here. I mean, I will be live until 12 p.m. I mean,
Yeah,
until
I
midnight
know.
Mexican time. So I mean, there's still a lot to talk here, and also
I'll
other
be
topics. So
Don't
you,
And
worry.
I had
I'll be
not-
back.
I had not intended to spend a fraction of this time, but I'm here. I feel I need to be here, so
Yeah, ditto. And you have to keep in mind, I'm Morgellons. My sleep pattern is beyond anybody else's. I get a couple hours here, and I run for 14. So I get moments where I'm like, I can't do it yet. I need a nap. So I'll be in and out, guys.
okay?
Thank you.
Well, I
Love
want-
yous all.
I wanna
Love,
thank-
man.
I want to thank you for not saying the word can't.
See you around.
Hello.
I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't hear anything.
Who's this?
Cool.
Oh,
Okay, well, I'll be back. I'm not shutting down. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, looks like Robert's got a phone call. Kirsten, you still on?
I am still here.
Yeah, you getting a little tired?
I am. But I'm afraid
Yeah.
to go to sleep now. I have to work.
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling it too.
Okay.
Um,
Guys, if you want, you can take a rest and come back later. I mean, I will be online, and I don't think that there will be every minute full of people, you know, because many people they are still working, other people are coming home, taking a bath or whatever. I mean, I'm online whenever you wanna join in. Just click me on and let's go. So. For me, that's problem. I will be online. Yep.
Yeah, I'll probably have to head out here in a minute. I'm doing an interview tonight with Helen, who I'm just on the phone. I'm just going to record it.
Okay.
She's got a very interesting story from Georgia. She's got a horse farm down there, and she got blasted with chemtrails. She's got soil tests. She's got tests of horse manure, and tests from plants, and she's shown a lot of aluminum. I think there's tons of aluminum, plants dying. She's got the white bark syndrome, and she's going to call me tonight. And we're going to do a little interview that I'm going to put up on there just to help people get a sense of what's going on. You know, I mean, this is affecting everybody.
Yep.
So anyway, I got to run, but been a blast. I will see if I can hop on later on
Okay.
when I get up.
Okay. Have a good sleep, and you know you're always welcome. Everybody is welcome here. I love you all, people. So okay. Thanks for your precious time for now, and see you later then.
You guys
much
later.
love,
Thanks,
Russ.
Robert, Kirsten, Hans. Talk
Yep.
to you later.
See you later,
All right.
alligator.
Morning.
You too. Yeah, good morning. Try to get to sleep.
Yeah. Good morning.
Thanks,
Okay. See
Alrighty.
you.
See you, Russ.
Okay.
Hold on. I got the person that's dealing with Clifford.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Russ is gone. Damn it. So is 9 p.m. Pacific? What is that in Mountain Time?
Ooh, I don't know.
8. 7?
It
I
got to
don't
be
know.
for sure. Because if I screw this up, then
On
we lose
internet there
Clifford.
are some websites with time schedules. Just
So 9 p.m. Pacific is what mountain time?
mountain time. Let me
I
check
don't
it
know.
out.
So if it would be 9 Pacific, it would be 10 Mountain, and it would be midnight Eastern. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Would Russ still be on the show? It might be better to wait until Clifford on the regular time, especially if there are so many listeners at that time. This is like critical, you know.
Mhm.
This is Clifford Carnicom's time for the 17th show on freedomizerradio.com, which is the guerrilla radio show within that site. And that will be 9 p.m. Pacific time on the 17th, which is Monday. Clifford Carnicom and Russ Tanner. Myself, unless I can get Amy Lou or Natasha on that show, then I don't have to go on. It is 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Okay. Mission critical. It would have been cool to have Clifford drop on here, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody is welcome. If someone wants to talk here, I'm online many hours more. So yeah.
What's interesting is my Facebook completely stopped reporting all the activity. There's 900 plus friends, and I've only had activity from 3 all night long. I've had messages.
I still haven't checked out my Facebook right now because
Oh, this is just how it works.
yep.
You cut off from the world when you're doing something. That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's called censorship.
Yep.
Quite aware of how that works. That's okay. Okay. People are waking up.
I didn't get it. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask Tanya. Is it Tanya, I believe?
I think she stepped away. She'll be back.
Yeah, I think so too.
You have the greatest radio voice, Kirsten. You would make the best host.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, okay, so I'm really curious about the Morgellons. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've talked about that, but it sounds like, and I've heard this from 3 different people now that, you know, have been around animals.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that kind of concerns me a bit.
It should, because typically they're cats, people with a lot of cats, dogs, or chickens. And that's just my observation. And then because I listen to everybody, I ask certain questions. And my mom is a dog breeder, so many dogs. The dogs had the source first, and it's like I keep telling you, it's like a springtail or columbine mite. They infest the dogs. They don't usually touch humans, but somehow these transfer over to humans. They're hosted first on the animal, then they wind up on your skin and in your skin, and then they don't go away. And there seems to be a morphing process. They change over time.
She did a fantastic job explaining what the research that I've done. She did a fantastic job explaining. Tanya, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Explaining exactly what it was like, pulling them out and...
Yep, it's a mirror of my mom. So...
Yeah.
But 5 years, I've only gone through 18 months, I guess, 19 months with my mom at this, and the suicidal rounds, and not wanting to live, and saying that she's old enough now where her life she doesn't have anything else to live for, and things like that. So many times during the week I have to pep talk her back to life, But
Right.
5 years, and that just makes me sit back and go, do I have to do this for 5 years? Can I do it?
Right.
I have to. But it's hard to get. What did you say her name was? Tammy, or not?
Anya?
Tanya. Yeah, it was hard to get her to be specific to the questions I was asking. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm 5 years. God. This doesn't seem to go away, so that's the part that I'm struggling with.
And I don't know if you remember, I'd say at least a decade, maybe 15 years ago, when people started getting fibromyalgia. I'm not saying it right, but the doctors were saying the same thing. You're crazy. It's in your head. And once they were able to provide a prescription for it, it seemed to be a valid affliction. Kind of the same thing.
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, my theory is that it's nanotech in some way, or GMO modified, or nanotech, which in either case isn't going to react to the traditional stuff. It doesn't like oils. It doesn't like mint or anything like that. It's like spearmint. Vicks, it doesn't like Vicks. But it only takes usually 6 weeks for whatever treatment you're using for it to override and come back with a vengeance each time. Each time you screw with it, it comes back worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
North.
yeah, but it takes all this trial and error.
La nueva botella de Pepsi está...
To get to a point where we get her for 10 weeks to not have any new breakouts, except for now we've got these hard bumps that are totally different than before. And when she lances the hard bump, the stuff comes not squirting out, but gushing out. So now we have a new battle. Did you see those recent images I put up that she just submitted?
I did.
Pretty vivid, yeah. And the hole in her arm from that's just one sore.
Right. And like Tanya was saying, the doctors are asking if she's a picker.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And calling her crazy.
Yeah.
And it's disturbing that it's not being acknowledged.
No. But the whole thing is the whole fact that they stay an arm's distance away or farther and will not touch you has to tell you that they're aware of something. Don't touch the door was what one of those doctors said, or two of them. Don't touch anything.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so Tanya's struggle, I can see where she'd be at her wit's end. At 5 years, I think that her having that group is going to be a healing process for her and very helpful. She doesn't know it yet.
Absolutely.
You learn by teaching,
Yep.
And see, I didn't tell her this, but I mean, I can do that red wine swish test with the cleanest palette and get those same results as if somebody who has it tested. And I don't have any sores or any problems like that. Right. So I just think that your saliva coagulates. But Clifford, who I respect, says otherwise. So I don't know.
Okay. I will bring in Peter Rosenholm right now. He's also kind of victim here. Let me.
Right on.
Okay.
Is that your commercial? Hey Peter, how you doing?
I'm still connecting. Peter?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, Peter. How are you?
Good morning.
Great to see you.
So, who do you have on?
Yeah, we are on the 24-hour live stream. You know, today's the celebration day of Project Lights Out, and I bring in everybody without censorship and with a lot of topics. So you're very welcome here.
Well, thank you. I just got back.
Speaker.
So I've been gone for a while now. Over 2 months.
Hans, are your speakers on?
Okay.
What's that, Peter?
I said I've been out in the Midwest with other targeted individuals for about 2 months. I just got back.
Oh wow.
So in my car.
You're a little bit low, Peter. Your
A
volume.
little low. Let me look at my sound. I know
For your
something's off. I
microphone.
don't know what it is.
So, you said something about the Midwest and targeted. What did you say?
Right, targeted individuals. TIs.
Gotcha.
Target mind control.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I
yeah.
about, you know, a dozen out there.
What do you got to What do you got to say about that, sir?
I would say since the beginning of the year, since the election, seems to increase. That's what I'm thinking. And then I just woke up this morning, plus 12, 12, 12, and one computer got a virus.
Huh.
But I have a few computers. So.
We can't hear you.
You're out of communication without them, you know?
Yeah.
So I built 7 of them. All over the world.
Kirsten, is it me or can you hear him?
It's a little bit low.
I
I see what's going on now. The computer, the dongle for the other computer is in the other computer, the headset. Give me a moment.
Yes, sir.
Technical malfunction. Be right back. Well, I feel better. I showered even.
Oh, you're quick.
Wow, you're quick.
Hey, I have a mission. I forgot to eat though.
That's all right, audience. Okay.
Well, seeing as we're taking a pause for the cause, I'll go take care of that now because this might be an interesting day today. Can't wait. Gotta energize, man.
Oh man, yeah. I started this at midnight here.
Are you kidding me? You've been on here that long?
Yep.
Oh.
Is that better?
Yes. Just as long as your tone is up a little bit more, you're good. Just a little bit louder, yeah. Just
My mic is up all the way.
there we go. Hello. So
Hey.
you're a TI individual guy.
Yes.
And how long?
For, I don't know, 16, 17, 18 years or more.
What is it that what is the reason you think that what is the reason you feel that you're being targeted? What is the cause? Are you involved in something that
Nah. Well, be honest, in my 20s, I took off. I had a robotic machine shop. I built a home. I built a mansion for my brother and mother overlooking the water. I took off in life. And as I look at where they're steering society now, it is to federalize all the local agencies. Really, it looks like communism. In fact, reading the Reese Committee report, it's all about making us like Russia. So I have a feeling I was too individual, and everything's so doing well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then when I saw all the businesses I was dealing with, they seem to get work easier. They seem to make more money.
Speaker, Hans.
Okay.
Yeah, your speaker. and so it seemed like they had to decide whether to bring me in or not. So when they began this, they began by surveillancing me. They put my company out of business, got me out of work with carpal tunnel. They broke up my marriage. I rented. My house could be a 2-family or a single family the way I built it, and so I rented out the second floor, and basically people surveillancing me moved in. I think they were looking for some way to control me. If you listen to Barry Trower, blackmail is the way they control people, and I don't think they found any. So they went to mind control attacks. You know, I think everyone out there actually in position of power have leverage on. It's what I'm thinking.
I understand.
So, yeah. So I was on the way of rising up. I'd easily be a millionaire. I had $100,000 working capital, you know, and I was young. They just didn't want that. You know, they didn't want control. They certainly don't want other people having their own control.
Okay. What have you done to counter these surveillance and interference with your life?
Well, to be honest, at one point, to prove that they were surveillancing me and threatening me with weapons I couldn't understand, I had bought the materials to load up a gun, and load up a refill bullets, which is low. I know when I talk to people from other countries, they don't have what we do in the U.S. And as I was knocking out the soccer part of the bullet and putting new ones in, I started getting V2K in my home. And they're threatening me, telling me they're going to screw me over big time. I'm thinking at that point, maybe they're thinking of attacking me till I lashed out. But I pointed the gun up and I said, "All right, you're dead, mother blank."
Yeah.
And when they were running out the door, boom, 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 out the door, raced away. So then it was obvious that, all right, these are the people above me. It wasn't long before I had the police come and basically threaten me not to harm them, to evict them legally, and the police were very much involved. In fact, the whole thing started with them pulling up, taking my picture. I had non-destructive weapons, pull up, hitting me with energy weapons. I had men in suits and black SUVs filming me, shopping and things, and I'm sure they have a huge file on me.
Yeah.
But what I figured was, if I ever lashed out, I would feed, like they say, Hunt says, feed, don't feed the machine. It's to the situation where when they use mind control on people, it's an attack. I know they can permit political and social control, but it's an attack. Now, if you lash back and you fight back for your rights to have a free mind, not be abused with this technology, then you are labeled as a terrorist, and they give more of these weapons to police, and they get more money for it. So it became pretty clear that, if I was to die, I just had to let them kill me and not participate in what they want on me, abused to further this goal. I mean, going back to Reagan's time, Igor Brzezinski wrote of controlling societies with what he called psychotronic technologies.
Right.
That was around when I started my company. I was like 25. It was back then that they started using this. And this is where we're caught right now. If you dissent in any way, they begin to hit you covertly or remotely with these weapons. If you retaliate, because you are under attack, then you're coined to terrorists. They get more money and more weapons for police to use these. So it's a very difficult battle. That they call these weapons communications normally. You'll find them calling them psychotronic technologies and other things in some writings, but they're mainly listed. There was one company you could tell was doing this, and they described themselves as communication experts. experts in hostile environments. And if you think about it, they are, communicating with mind.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the whole thing. Is the public doesn't know they're under attack. The people who are under attack, if they retaliate, they just feed the machine, and they get more of these weapons and more money for it. I read this is their goal, to control society. There's another writing called Revelations in Military Affairs. It mentioned that they would control the population with subliminal and propaganda, in that they would usher in a new world order during the 2012 elections. That's one reason why I went out to the Midwest. Like I say, with a girl who I know, we were going to be married at one point. We were engaged, pretty close. But this time I went up beyond a lot of chaos, a lot of problems. The mind control has been ratcheted up. Yeah. In the beginning, we were also all exactly the same age. We were like a beta test group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were separated by 50 or 100 miles across the country. Now we know from international call that it's around the world. So that's how I see it as the new world order. I see Magnus is on here, and Magnus is on those. We know that the Chinese came on for a little bit, and that was it. I don't think we ever got a Russian from Russia. We know that these communist countries are really tightly controlled. There are no freedoms. If we go that route, that's what we can expect.
Yeah.
So, did you and your wife have a healthy marriage prior to all these problems?
No, to be honest, it was like a scientific attack. The officer who was involved, the police officer who was involved, she had a daycare business along with with my robotic machine shop, and at one point they put pornography and gun magazines with a policeman's address on it. I think she got called. Her family knew the police, and she went out in the morning and got it. So I think somebody was talking into her head. Later on, I made a complaint against the police officer as we were breaking up, because he started swearing, yelling, and when her father came in, as if he knew him. And I made a complaint, and they said, they didn't find any basis to it. I only found out like 2 or 3 years ago that this officer lived next door to her brother, my brother-in-law. And so, yeah, they were next door. They were whispering into the air. They were trying to isolate me for the program. Most everyone in this program is isolated. If they were married when they were picked, their marriage is broken up. A lot of times their company is put out, or their job, they get what they call workplace harassment.
Okay.
So they end up unemployed. There are injuries like they try to fake mental illness. They also can give you carpal tunnel, many other injuries. I'm reading Dr. Nick Begich's book called Controlling the Human Mind, and I'm amazed at how the body communicates throughout it. Each cell, by let's say a particle of food, nutrient comes up to a cell, it resonates at a certain vibration, very low electricity, very low magnetism. But when that vibrates at a certain rate, or pulse or modulation, whatever you want to call it, they have the same thing in the cell, and when the two of them resonate together, it increases the power. That cell absorbs that food particle, or it could be a hormone, or it could be a messenger, it could be all kinds of things. And they can send pulse and modulated frequencies at people at very, very low power densities to disrupt all kinds of functions in the body and the brain. And so it doesn't even have to be mind control in the sense of subliminal or V2K. It can be injuries, it can be sicknesses. Dr. Barry Trellis says, give it enough time, you can pick your cancer.
Yeah.
Peter.
Yes.
So, is there? You were saying that you're having issues now with this gal that you were just seeing in the Midwest. Is there issue with connecting with them, or how
Well,
is that relationship?
Well, here's what happened. I mean, this is to get a bit personal, but a girl had a wedding, made this girl the maid of honor, fixed her up with a date with the best man. Now, when I was out there, 4 months ago for 2 months, she said, "Oh, I was gonna fix you up, but I didn't realize you and Peter were so close." Well, she went ahead and did it anyways. When I wake up the first morning going out there are a bunch of cards she wrote facing me and saying, "I'm sorry, I harassed you, but Peter, come out." This girl very much, they're trying to divide us because to be a TI, they try to isolate us. And I'll be honest, if you read The Brave New World, it is a world where they grow people. There is not a family unit. People have sex and relationships with all different people. And it's kind of what they're trying to do to us by isolating us. Relationships, family, make people strong. Make individuals, families strong, groups strong. And I believe part of this isolation is to make us individuals by ourselves. This girl just got married to a man who's a nice guy. He works at the University of Madison or Wisconsin. It's in Madison. There, Dr. McCoy wrote on No Touch Torture by the CIA. There are other experiments they do there on sleep deprivation and torture cats to see what the effects are. When we went to stay at a house in the woods for a weekend, just to get away, one of the girls had a family member who owned it. There was a dove on the door of her car, like chalk. I took a picture of it. It's unbelievable. Almost like she's protected. Now, she claims to have had this stuff done to her since she was very young. I'm beginning to put some people into a group where they have a partner, they have money, and they're MK Ultra. They're very much controlled. And so they use these people to affect us. In other words, Magnus, do you have a partner?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Magnus.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, Peter.
Yes, I can. Magnus, do you have a partner, or do you know any TIs who have a partner?
No, actually I do not.
That is almost straight across the board. Now I'm noticing there are a few who have a partner and have money, in some cases millions.
So Peter, was it difficult for you to connect with her?
Be honest, in the beginning, she supposedly met this guy, was going for a date, and be honest, we're very close. We're very close. We snuggle, we kiss, So it was very hurtful, obviously. And I don't know, but then this girl, the girl I went to see stopped talking to this guy. And what I found is the girl who has the dove imprinted on her car, it was just chalk. I was able to wipe it off, And I think that meant she was protected now. She gave the girl I went to see a cell phone so she could secretly call this guy. Anyways, I came home with the cell phone. It's I tried not to be jealous and get mad, which was tough. I wanted to know what happened, what is going wrong. And I know that we deal with mind control so that we're at a disadvantage. In other words, what people might accept normally in their lives, we have to think a little deeper. We have to go the extra mile to try to understand what is happening. And if you look at this, they are in our heads, and not only in our heads, they have computers in all of our heads. They can put subliminal thoughts, or V2K, in different people's heads to try to change the mood of the group, the direction of the group. This is their goal. I mean, they're still working on it. They're still experimenting. But so I tried to look at it at that point, and what I found was the 4 years I've known this girl and how close we've been, I was able to override what they did in the end. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of. I guess what Kirsten was asking you was, like, on a personal level, was it difficult to connect with her as a person in your relationship?
Not at first. At first, I actually think they got us together. She read my writings online, and she flew out, like 1,200 miles to come see me. And at the time, I had been through all kinds of experiments. I told her, I got to wonder if you're military intelligence, So we got to take it slow. You got to stay in a hotel. And so we got to know each other. And then I went out to meet her. And with all of us TIs, usually there's a circle around us who are your friends and your family who say this can't be happening. That's the component to what's happening to us. In other words, even as this happens, the people around us are also affected with subliminal, saying no way can that be happening. They would know about it. It would be on TV. It would be on the news.
I believe subliminal on TV and media.
Right, but what I'm saying is I think there's massive subliminal. In fact, that military writing talked about controlling the population with subliminal. To give you one example of worldwide mind control would be the woodpecker signal. Any of you familiar with that?
Yes.
That resonating sound that communicates to woodpecker is doing what a woodpecker does.
No, what they
it's tone. And
what they claim it's called brain. What it was brain entrainment. and what this is the Earth has a frequency called the Schumann resonance. It's 7.83 hertz. And our body, believe it or not, functions in that. It's like our timer. And it fluctuates somewhat. And when we go to sleep, we go a little bit lower. When we're excited, we go a little bit higher. But we always stay pretty close. The frequency fluctuates a little bit. And they found this out when they went into space. And the astronauts got out of the Earth's magnetic field. And they were all messed up. Then they realized they had to create an artificial pulse within the spaceship.
Really?
So that they could function. Well, when they learned this, the Russians put up Sputnik. They sent the woodpecker, and they said it was an over the horizon detection system. But what it was it all came together somewhere in Oregon or something like that. And the idea was to make Americans, I believe, because it was 10 point something. That's a state of agitation. So it was to cause disruption in the U.S. I think somewhere around when Chernobyl went down, so did the woodpecker. So that was a little battle. In fact, the first use of microwave weapons that we know of was the Russians microwaving our embassy in Moscow. And you can look that up. And a bunch of people got leukemia. And at the time, the Russians said they were charging their bugging devices, but obviously they were doing far more. So when you look at the Cold War, this is what the Cold War, how it was fought.
And if you're in history buff, you would understand everything you just said. Right.
If you followed it from the beginnings of the Cold War, the attack on the embassy with microwaves, the discovery of voices skull, listed by the Army as voices or subliminal to humans or animals.
And they're hearing some weird noises, deep resonating tones from somewhere that are unexplained. And yeah, I totally believe that because I have been doing the research. If you haven't heard me earlier, I've been researching a lot lately, and I've been reading stuff, and clicks are starting to click together. Someone said dots are starting to be connected, and I have a basic knowledge of the science and what's going on around me, and subtle little things are definitely starting to be a big thing.
Yeah, well, when I had my robotic machine shop, I used to make microwave components. And I always
See, I don't
have
have that technology. I'm just a normal Joe trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I'm sick, and so many other people are, and it's like, whoa, man, let's stop and take a look here and see the real picture of why this is happening and nothing's being done. Appalling.
Right. If you want to follow it back to its roots, I think it goes all the way back to the Fabian Society.
I'm not aware of that. I still have to do my research on that. I think I may have heard the name once or twice, reading history and stuff. But yeah, I really have to look on that before I can even make a judgment on that. I can't follow that conversation.
All
Sorry.
All right. Well, I'll explain a little bit to you. When
Sure, that'd be great.
When George Orwell wrote 1984,
Okay.
he didn't write it because it was just some fantasy he made up. He was in the Fabian Society and he rejected it.
I believe that.
Okay, so this thought, it's really a thought of totalitarian control.
Yeah.
You know, but it's also looking at eugenics, of getting rid of people they don't want.
You see that? Yeah.
Breeding people for specific tasks.
Yeah.
You know, in communism, when it started, I took a course in communism in college, and I had to sign a paper I couldn't join the CIA. But the one thing they do is they stopped religion. Now, I noticed in this New World Order, they are now allowing religion. You know, in China and in Russia now, they allow religion. But they wanted no opposition to their control. Now, I think with mind control, they're not that worried about guns. They're not that worried about church. They control the media. If they can control the information that, you know, we see, if they can send us subliminal thoughts, and a subliminal thought is really just 4.3 times faster than the VTK.
Yeah, I understand what they are. I remember seeing stuff. Yep, I remember. I think that everywhere, actually, when I look around me, and I don't watch TV much, to be honest with you, but yeah, I think about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of TV either.
Yeah. I'm
But,
sucked into Facebook and I can't get out. How's that for you?
Yes. It goes back hundreds of years to the Fabian Society, when Hitler went to take over Europe, which was another totalitarian regime. At the same time, there's a BBC article saying Prescott
La nueva botella de Pepsi es una chulada.
Bush, grandfather, attempted a coup in the U.S. and Smedley Butler, a colonel in the Marines, thwarted it. Now, his family put out a video. You can find that. You can find the BBC article. But you don't see a statue of Smedley Butler. You don't see him as a hero in the United States. You don't see it in our history. So then we come to just after World War II, and there was something called the Reese Committee. What they did was they wanted to look into the tax-exempt foundations, which are all the billionaires. You know, and they're supposed to be doing good
things. I remember that, yeah, in history class.
Right. Now, there was a guy named Dodd headed it, and there was a guy named Edward Griffin who made a video on it. They were filming, and he realized he was near the head of this man named Dodd, and he asked him could he film him for a day, because he knows he headed the committee. And what they found out was the Carnegie Foundation, I think it gave them minutes and seconds of their meetings, and their group is infiltrated, you know, like most, and even the infiltrator, the job of looking at, you know, reading these minutes, and nearly lost their mind and had to leave. But it was all about, they wanted to change society for us to be like Russia. And what they did at the time was they picked, I think it was like 20 of some of the most brilliant students out there, and they gave them scholarships to go to England and basically be programmed to teach a new kind of history. You know, and they ended up in a think tank, and then they came back to the U.S. and they went to universities, and they began to rewrite history, slowly rewrite it, using something they call gradualism.
And you do see that throughout history too. Yeah, Yeah, common.
Right. So gradualism, in other words, they don't make big moves, or they try not to. It's a little change, a little
Yeah,
change,
it's a
a little change.
process over time. Absolutely.
Right. It's even like, V2K, I imagine, is listed as, a communication weapon. I
Yeah.
say that because LRAD, also developed by the Navy, they use as crowd control. And LRAD is declared a communications device. So even though it can blow people's eardrums and do all kinds of things, it's not considered a weapon. It bypassed all the international laws. So I'm thinking the same thing happened with V2K. Then they've got millimeter wave, which looks right through your house. Can see everything in there. If you use millimeter wave can read your breathing rate, your heart rate, where you're sweating. So now, if they're sending you subliminal in V2K and they're reading your biofunctions, it's no touch torture. Well, McCoy
So
wrote about
are you saying that they can actually affect you in that way as well, and interfere with your autonomic functioning and like your heart rate, your breathing, your whatever? Is that what you're trying to say with that?
No, I'm saying they can monitor it. In other words, here's an example of how. In other
I'm
words,
only asking that because I'm
Yeah.
only 44 years old and I have severe heart issues. I had a TIA at 19. I had a heart attack at 42. Like, I have issues now. 5 years I'm dealing with these sores. Like, yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah. Well, be honest, I had the heart thing too. I lived. We just lost a friend who died of a heart attack.
Oh,
40
I'm
something
very
years old.
sorry. Yeah. And they're trying to say it's a genetic thing. It's your lifestyle. Pretty darn healthy, people. I look after myself, and this should not be happening to me. This was not my plan. So continue. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, for your heart, you get wine in a large bag. If you buy like Franzia, after you drink the wine, fill it full of water. You feel anything on your heart, you put this bag of water over your heart. It both cools it and makes the volume of mass larger. And I found that helps with that.
You're going to have to send me some information. You realize this. I want links to all the information you have, because you think me and Morgellons is going to remember a lot of these really awesome points you're making?
Right. You're going to have to be recording. Honestly, I just got back from 2.5 months away. I've got a lot of work to do here. I've got a home, and
I hear you.
I've got thousands of dollars worth of tile and cement board. And
anyway, continue on with your history there. I'm really interested in that.
Okay, so where were we? We went from Fabian Society to Hitler, Prescott Bush, the Reese Committee, and the tax exemptions, and their goal to basically write history, control it. And then there are many more advancements. We could get into the Church Committee and COINTELPRO and MK Ultra, and that's so huge. Some of the roots to all that. Communism. Communism is a word. I know a man who took over Cuba with Castro, and when they fought and he lost relatives and everything, when Castro finally won, Castro then started killing everyone, anyone that could oppose him for authority. This man him to help them, make a coup. Of course, we know the pigs and that. Power is an ugly thing. People sometimes in this country might say, that we need to revolt or whatever. A lot of times in a revolution, it's worse than what you started with. It's we had a good system here. If we could only get it working again.
The way it's supposed to be working.
Right. When you look at the government, it's like the
not be lied to, ignored, and told whatever. Yeah, like actually have people dedicated in with the same moral and ethical views that we all seem to share here. Like, get it together. I just don't get it.
Well, here's what I'm doing. You talk about your health issues and that. I'm drinking smoothies in the morning. spinach, golden flaxseed fruit, all raw. I'm trying to get raw
going organic
vegetables,
and natural.
organic. There you go. I'm trying to grow my own
I've done the
food.
same thing, and in the last 2 weeks since I found out, 4 months ago, my disease was Morgellons syndrome. Let's call it that. And 4 weeks ago, I had to stop working because it pains too much. 2 weeks, I've been researching and switched to organic, natural, with knowing what I know. And I have noticed a significant improvement in my sores, my skin.
Right.
The swelling in my abdomen has gone down. Like, oh my God! Click, 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 click.
Well, military writings where they can infect people with microparticles to create locust cell mutations, which is cancer, right?
And we're seeing that.
And it's even reversible. So the thing
Hey,
to
Peter.
do is,
Hey, Peter.
Yep.
How is that reversible? I was curious.
I think we're the way they should be make it that way. We're that smart. Really are. We're just being guided to be thinking individuals and guided by a trusting figure that's misleading us.
right.
Into
In other words, when they make this cancer, let's say that somebody gets picked, they get cancer, go to a doctor, and then they experiment on them some more with treatments. Much of what the U.S. is doing today is, what I see is, when I started my company, I was young, but I can remember Reagan pulled the funding to states and towns. And all the states and towns were struggling, raising taxes and that. And then the federal government gives money now to universities for research and to police, giving these weapons through the COPS program. But much of what we do is universities getting full money to research aspects of mind control.
I have the same thought. Yeah.
So we have
Knowing
become,
what I know now, I'm thinking a lot of things.
right, we have become a country of research, and we know our military is 50 to 100 years ahead of what we know.
I believe that.
Hello.
And medical help is like 100 years below that level, what we should be. That blows my mind. Especially here I sit in pain, very limited and disabled, really. And try and get help for the disabled part. There's no support out there for someone like me. I'm crazy. I'm delusional. Like, wow, here we go again.
You know, what I did was I researched my... When I had the heart attack, 2 women come in. There were groups. They don't all agree, the groups involved in this. CIA, NSA, FBI. Two women came in and told me I was being taken out. I was being given a drug, which they told me was for anxiety, trying to be psychotic. It is considered for anxiety at extremely low doses.
I was told mine would take away my itching.
Right, but the doses they had me on of this medicine, Seroquel, there was then an article by the Huffington Post where they were giving it to troops who were post-traumatic. And within 1 year, they were gaining 50 pounds and dying of a heart attack. And here I am in the hospital, went to sleep, heart raced to 180 beats a minute, but I lived. And there's 2 women telling me, get it off it. And now I read 10 years later of so many troops dying that they called it a plague.
Well, you know what that tells me? That tells me everyone is expendable. That's just baseline. Holy action spoke louder than any word right there. That's just saying.
There are laws saying that the military is allowed to experiment on people with directed energy weapons, biological weapons, and it was
we read about it. I think it's all for the greater good. They're going to save us from the aliens coming down, but you know what? The aliens are here, and I'm not saying from outer space. They made these little critters by mutating them and infecting us all, and the attack is actually here, and it was man-made. That's the information I'm getting in the research I've done in 2 weeks, and I'm blown away. So I need to, I want my facts.
Yeah, I can only speak about what I've been through, but what I did was
beautiful though. Well done. And I'm sorry I interrupted. I don't even know who you are. I don't know what you represent, but your story to me is fascinating.
Thank you. I'm along with thousands of people, and really millions who just don't even know it.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, anyways, what I did was I got off medicine secretly, and when I got halfway off, my mind cleared. I mean, I wondered why I went to where I could build homes, company, fix anything, you know.
Yeah.
And now I had put a shower downstairs, cut through the concrete where I had ran pipes on the ground, could remember where they were, and then all of a sudden this happened, and now I didn't know how to do it now, and I was wondering, I must be getting old. I'm being drugged to oblivion.
Well, that's what they're telling us. Oh, it's a sign of old age, you know. Yeah, you're at that age where, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I shouldn't be like feeling postmenopausal when the hormones and blood tests say I'm not. What the hell? I hear you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So
They tell
what
us, be healthy, look after yourself so you can live a long, happy, productive life, and we're not making it. Our grandparents are outliving us. Like, wow.
Peter, Peter, what medication did they have you on?
Seroquel.
You'll have to excuse me. I have to take care of something, but I will be back. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Seroquel is a drug that even has a death warning on it now, and it went on shortly after I got off it. But they were giving it to old people in nursing homes, and so many of them died that they put a death warning. And again, that comes down to eugenics, where, you know, if you're in a nursing home, I guarantee you're only going to be there so long. It's a matter of us controlling our own lives. These things are no longer taught in school. They're not talked about on the media. You know, you got to take care of your parents. You have to look at the drugs and try to stay off the drugs. God knows what's in them. I mean, when they talk about microparticles that are enhanced by directed energy weapons, we have frequencies blown through all the time. Wi-Fi, cell phones. You know, it's I mean, body's a temple. It's a matter of keeping it clean. You know, eating good. Since I did these smoothies, I've lost 60 pounds. I'm doing all kinds of work. My mind is clear. What I need to do, what I found, was eat raw food. That smoothie.
Have you detoxed?
No, I haven't.
No heavy metal detox. Heavy metal detox will absolutely help because of all the metals that are in the medications,
La nueva botella de Pepsi está rifadísima.
and the things that you're exposed to on a daily basis and have been exposed to for years and years and years. That heavy metal detox is like the key to getting rid of all that stuff. But you need to do it with a doctor that knows what they're doing, because if you detox too quickly, you can get very, very, very sick.
Right. I read a report by someone who's a mind control victim, and the doctor felt it was nanoparticles, and with detoxification was taking supplements to replenish what other things that they would be losing. So if that's what you mean, I understand that.
Well, it's that, but it's also when you're detoxing those metals, those heavy metals out of your body, you need to make sure that they're coming out of the body, and you can get really, really sick if you're releasing them back into your body and not doing it with
I have done that. I have, it was very interesting and scary, and in the same time, because exactly at that place that I could feel all these, because I have Morgellons and I'm TI2, so there are in that different kind of place on my body, it looks like a burning, that I have a burning sore, or it's swelled up and it's burning from inside. I can't explain it's really correct in English, but and I was very sick, but then I became better, but when you detox, it's very important that you take it slowly. But that is the first time on all my years, for 6 years back, that I could see a very, very good results, and something happening. But now I have not done it for 3 months, and I can begin to, because I'm very sensitive of electricity and microwaves and different kind again. So I think that is something we must do in different times.